MQ-4, which is, by the way, the most expensive of all of these drone, over the Strait of Hormuz. They go there, suddenly they squawk 7,700. 3 of them
and 2 A-10 Warthogs.
Well, yeah, that one I forgot, but yeah.
And McMurphy, after you go through this, I got some questions for you that I know a bunch of people are going to want to go. Take it away. But I got some questions I'm going to hit you with in a second. Go ahead.
Yeah, of course. But I just wanted to say that we're using this in the Strait of Hormuz, and
as super chat your questions in. This guy is lives in
Iran. The first thing that
guys, get your questions in now. Super chat him if you guys want. This guy actually lives in Iran, and he has a good pulse on everything.
When they get into Iranian airspace, and by the way, it happened rarely. And I just got the news, it hasn't been confirmed, but just got the news that the Jordan was hit by 2 Iranian pilots that flew there, bombarded it, and flew back to Iran. As what happened with Kuwait. We went there, you remember, 2 F-18s, 1 F-15 was shot down over the skies of Kuwait, and they said whatever. That was 2 Iranian fighter jets that went over there, and I'm not going to give you the details on what happened later on, but the 3 airplanes that were shot over there was because of those 2. And here, this 2. But the most important technology, which is completely native to Iran, is that spoofing technology Truth was talking about, and we are using it in this. Many planes over there go there, squawk 7,700, and then some of them in UAE, one in Qatar, one in Saudi Arabia. And the MQ-4, apparently we have it because the Americans didn't find it, and obviously didn't blow up. So we have been using it, and this is one of the most advanced weapons that we have. And if you look at it, even the maritime tower in, I don't remember what city it was, but near Bandar Abbas, they hit it 5 different times with different missiles in order to hit it. And in the 5th try, they were able to do it. Now, that seems a little strange for those missiles that are shot from kilometers, thousands of kilometers sometimes away, and then they hit the target, just like Minab, just like they're killing the supreme leader and many other targets. But now it appears as though, even though they are using a lot of bombs and missiles in the southern part of Iran, but they're not hitting as many targets as they used to before. And I think that's all because of what Truth was talking about, the spoofing technology. But go ahead,
Mercy.
Myron,
Yeah, so I got a couple of questions here. Number one, what is the temperament of the Iranian people right now, now that the war is officially kicked back off and, the MOU is dead? What is the temperament of the people in general?
Myron, your mic volume might be a little low.
It's low? Okay.
The overwhelming majority of Iranians. Now, first of all, when the ceasefire was announced, the majority, we were shocked here, and no one wanted it. We wanted to continue. And right now, we were waiting for this to happen impatiently. And actually, there was some trouble inside of Iran because many people wanted this to happen, and our leadership was saying the United States is going to do this. They're going to attack us pretty soon. And they said this over and over. And they said it twice, once by the head of IRGC, once by Polygraph, that you think in this time between the ceasefire and when they attack, because we know they're going to attack as they did. So between this period, we're going to resupply, we're going to get the things that need to be done.
Mercy, let me ask you that
technology.
That dovetails right into my next question. And let me just make sure I get it out for you, because I saw you were starting to go there, but I want to be specific. Over the past couple of weeks where you guys have had this ceasefire, right, for the most part, I know there's been little strikes here or there, but, for the most part, they took the blockade off for a little bit, sanctuary lead for a little bit. Besides that, what has Iran done to rearm, prepare, whether recover, rebuild? What is the, and obviously you're not a government official, you're not going to know everything, but from what you know and what's generally known, what has Iran done during this peace period to prepare for the second phase?
Well, I think from military standpoint, maybe even Truth can give you better details on this one, but I'm going to give you some details about what we did inside of the country. But from that side, if you like, many of the missiles hit not our missile cities, but the entrances to those missile cities, and then the launchers that we had, and they have been dug up, they have been repaired. From the very first hours of the ceasefire, actually in the first week, many of it has been repaired. And our infrastructure, many of them have been fixed. And by the way, we started that corridor with Pakistan. You know, as soon as the ceasefire started, we started working for a way to go around the Strait of Hormuz ourselves because there was trouble down there. We wanted to be in contact with China and the rest of the eastern side of Asia in order to get them some goods, get some goods from them. And we have done that with the help of Pakistan and the new corridors that we opened over there. Our cooperation with Russia and China increased dramatically over the past week. There have been some planes coming to Iran from Russia. I'm sure you can track it and then get some details on it. The contents were unknown, but maybe Truth knows some details about that too. And inside of the country, there were many problems because of the war that hadn't shown themselves to the public because they were managing, they were using resources and were trying not to, you know, get the people of Iran to face any hardship. But as soon as the ceasefire started, they started to just repairing everything and reappropriating, you know, distributing everything that needed to be done throughout the country and university programs, anything, because we are right now at the end of the semester and they're saying there are summer exams and whatnot.
So Mercy,
anything, yeah.
okay, so this is going to be a little bit more of a complex question, but you know, Truth might be able to answer this one. So we know that since 2009, the United States has been working on the big bunker buster bomb that they would utilize to obviously get into Fordo, the mountainous, you know, nuclear facility that I think was, you know, the most deep underground. Now, Mercy, you said something great earlier, which I want to follow up on as well. You mentioned how the United States really only bombed the entrances to these missile cities, but didn't actually destroy the infrastructure. And as soon as the ceasefire happened, Iran started clearing the entrances so that they can utilize these missile cities again. So my question is this, and Truth, please chime in here if Mercy can't answer it. The bunker buster that we used back on Fordo, number one, do we still have access to those bunker busters that obviously are, you know, very deep penetrating? That's number one. And then number two, if we do, are we using those bunker busters against the missile cities? And if we're not, what are we using to try to stop these bunker cities, if we can even stop it at all?
Well, to give you a summarized answer, I would say yes, and we have it, and we have the footage of it. Actually, Iranians have gotten one completely unharmed, and we announced that we're going to reverse engineer it and
so
benefit
Mercy,
from it.
The one that you guys got and reverse engineered, is it the normal bunker buster, or are we talking about the big boy that they dropped on Fordo?
GBU 57 is what they
GBU,
dropped.
yeah, GBU 57.
It's the
So-
MOP, the massive ordnance penetrator,
MOAB, mother of
and
all
only the
bombs.
B2 Spirit can carry it. So that's what the Trump used.
Okay,
They dropped,
perfect.
like,
So because I know we used that on Fordo, but Truth, from what I know, and Mercy again, I was told, at least in early reporting, we didn't have many of these, you know, these mother of all bombs, right? We had regular bunker busters, but we didn't have, you know, that many of those other big ones. Have we been using those big ones on all the missile city attacks, or have we not had the resources to do so?
We're cash. We've already built them all
okay.
out.
Those can
No.
only be carried with the B2
Yeah.
bombers. And again, I discussed this yesterday. Those B2 bombers can only do aerial missions under very specific conditions. It's not even water resistant, so the way the surface is built, and the engine can cool off accordingly. So again, because Iran's been getting all this rain, there haven't been any B2 missions. But look, all they figured out in theory with these GBUs that they were using was that if they're able to bomb the same site repeatedly, there may be a chance they could penetrate closer to 100 meters below the Earth's surface. However, with Fordo, it's below mountain rock, which is a limestone. The GBU 57 wouldn't be able to penetrate deep enough, even if they hit it repeatedly. Even in theory, they wouldn't be able to do it. So, and plus, it was reinforced with more concrete. So it was completely fictitious and, you know, wrong. It was a false notion on
Misleading.
Trump's part to think he in any way, shape, or form slowed down Iran's nuclear program, because all they did was really block, or at best do some superficial damage to entrances. And when they went back and did radiation checks to see if there were any spills, there was none. And
So-
you know, Fordo's still operational and running.
We still have
according
some.
according to Hormuz letter, U.S. has struck 2 strategic water tanks in Burmay, district of Sarik, southern Iran, completely destroying them and cutting off water distribution to all villages. So it looks like they've hit another. It looks like this is another attack on Iranian water.
Yeah, that was
We
the
still
water
have a
source
good
for
amount
20
of
villages.
Myron, to answer
20
you.
villages,
It's
and it was
just
the fifth
Oh,
one.
that's the one from.
the GBU-57. So Truth's point before, we'd have to be able to get B2s over inland Iran, which is obviously a problem at this point.
So fair. So just so I make sure I have this right. So as of recently, the bunker busters that we've been dropping on these missile cities have not been the bunker busters that we dropped on Fordo. They have not been. Okay, they've been the smaller ones that the Israelis have access to.
You would have known if they'd used the B-2 bombers because they're too noticeable.
Okay.
So I would have picked up on it, right?
So would it be fair to say that we haven't used the B-2 bombers since the first part of this campaign back in late February, early March then?
I'm only familiar with them using it during the 12-day war. I didn't know if they used it all in March at all. So I can't.
We've used the
confirm that.
B1B a fuck ton in the B-52s, especially the B1B.
Oh, okay.
AKA the Lancer.
So we know Midnight Hammer, we dropped the big ones, which, Truth, you're saying they did not do the
Those
same
are the
damn.
biggest ones they have. The GB-57s are the biggest ones they have.
And you're saying with that, all we did was destroy the entrance for Fordo. We did not obliterate it.
Even then, it's like some superficial damage.
No, not even that. Not even the entrance was destroyed with Fordo. With some of our missile cities, yes, but with Fordo, no. That is like, if you look at the map of the area, you're going to see.
Fucking cavern.
Hold on, guys.
Entrances, man. You have to understand that. It doesn't matter what you hit at the first time. These motherfuckers
Okay,
are 50,
happy.
5 meters deep.
All right, dude. You gotta let Truth and McMercy answer what they're saying. We got some guys in there that know what they're talking about. We got a local, and obviously, Truth is the host, man. So just show a little bit of respect. Yeah. So McMercy, go ahead, bro. We're finished what you're saying, dude.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you look at the map of the whole area, you're going to see Fordo is not like that. And from the time that they started assassinating our nuclear scientists, we just took it to heart and realized that they're going to do this. And if they get the chance, they're going to bomb all our facilities. That is why, from the very beginning, and starting to build the missile cities, it goes back to Iran-Iraq war a little bit after the beginning of that war. So
McMercy,
like
let me ask you this
did
then.
Something and realized it. Go ahead.
Are the missile cities bunkered down as deep as Fordo was?
In some cases, even deeper. Some
deeper.
cases not.
Okay.
As
Low as
deep, but
500 meters deep. Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
yeah,
so
at least 100 meters.
So just to be clear,
so I can a mountain of granite.
Oh, sorry, McMercy, I didn't mean to mute you. I was happy was jumping in. So just so I make sure I have this clear, Mercy and Truth, please chime in too. The only way that we could destroy these missile cities is by dropping the mother of all bombs. Not regular bunker busters can actually stop these missile cities. Am I right on that one? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, but the challenge remains trying to penetrate limestone and granite. Those bunker busters won't penetrate anywhere deep enough, even if you hit the same area enough times. Even Grok confirms that.
So even with the mother of all bombs, we still have a very slim chance of getting to these fucking cities.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why Trump attempted to try to do an invasion, that whole intervention, which they called a pilot rescue mission, to try to take Iran's highly enriched uranium, because that's, again, very deep in what he thought was like the Esfahan nuclear site.
And I'm glad, and we're getting really into weeds here and being nerds, but I think details like this matter quite a bit, especially when Trump is running around and saying we got bunker busters, we can destroy their missile cities.
There is one
mountain
instance.
is deeper than Fordo as well, and Trump thinks he's going to take that
Myron,
out.
there is one instance in which they might have used the mother of all bombs, and that is in Quds City near Tehran. There was a very big explosion over there, and we're not sure what it was. I'm not sure what it was, but it was huge and bigger than usual explosions. But again, they achieved nothing over there too.
I just want to give you guys a reference to Jane's Defense Weekly. Back in the fucking day, after the Israelis hijacked their centrifuges, these motherfuckers went another 50 meters fucking deep. Look it up. It's fucking clear as day.
Israel never hijacked any centrifuges. I don't know where you're getting that from.
The
only thing Israel ever did was
able to go ahead
they only killed some nuclear scientists. They never hijacked any centrifuges.
All right, so Happy, you're just going crazy, bro. Okay, so this is a big deal, man, because the way that Trump, and let me tell you guys why I'm asking these questions very specifically, and Truth, you're going to know exactly what I talk about when I say this. The American media has made it seem like these bunker busters are destroying anything that they're dropped on. They're destroying the missile cities. They're destroying the nuclear facilities. They, they fucking rave about these not nuclear, excuse me. They rave about these fucking bunker busters. They've been built since 2009, blah, blah, blah. But what you guys are telling me is not only did it not, fully penetrate Fordo, which was the whole reason why we fucking made the bomb in the first place, you guys are saying they're not even fucking penetrating the missile cities, which is insane.
That's correct.
No, of course not.
Wow.
Yeah, and by the way, the guy was talking about our centrifuges. I think he's talking about Stuxnet, because back then we got UPS from outside of Iran for our nuclear facilities, and one of the things they did was they tampered with it, the Israelis, and it caused some damage back then. It was never hijacked. It was like one of those sabotage missions that was successful to some extent and did some damage, but we just wised up and decided to do it all ourselves. So he wasn't wrong on that one, but no hijacking. It was just sabotage. And yes,
Mercy.
no missile cities and no nuclear facilities have been destroyed by the American bombardment.
Yeah. Okay. That's huge news, man. Because in American media, they use the bunker busters interchangeably, right? So they're very ambiguous about what type of bombers they use. The only time they were explicit was when they bombed Fordo. After that, every time they say they bomb, we don't really know what the fuck they're dropping. Well, Mercy, let me ask you this question, because this is, as someone that lives in Iran, right outside of Tehran, I think you can answer this. Number one, are the Iranian people worried about desalination plants, power grids, or power plants being destroyed? And then number two, how is the Iranian government preparing for the potential doomsday scenario where you guys might not have access to clean water, your food? Are they lowering price of food? What is the government doing to kind of brace itself for the people in preparation of potentially power plants getting hit, et cetera? And are the Iranian people scared?
Well, first of all, of course, hitting infrastructure would be harmful, but let me give you an analogy. What if there's a thorn in your leg, for instance, and your whole clothes on fire? So would that thorn hurt you? Of course, but you have a much more immediate problem to get to, and if you're sane and logical, you wouldn't even mind the thorn. You would go to that first and then come back to it. Yes, of course, we know there are hardships. Right now, we have a couple of hours of outages.
You've got to add the perspective here. Look, Myron, first of all, there's over 130 power plants across Iran, plus the micro generators as backups.
Okay.
Iran only relies on desalination for less than 8% of its water. It's got tons of rivers and freshwater sources. It's not going to make any difference. Whereas with the Gulf states, they rely on desalination for over 90% of their water.
Yeah.
Kuwait's already been hit. So with Iran, it's negligible. And Trump's got to launch hundreds of missiles to try to strike all these power plants successfully. There's air defense systems as well. They're not all going to hit successfully. But he can talk in theory about doing this to try and create blackout conditions around. It's not feasible. Plus, there's all the micro generator backups as well. They're prepared for this. And don't forget, Iran has its own techs. If any of them get damaged, they can fix it in less than a day. They've dealt with this before. It's not even the first time they've been struck.
Correct.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, actually, 2 nights ago in Bandar Abbas, they fixed it in less than 5 hours. The whole city was dark and they fixed it in less than 5 hours. And by the way, Iran is already building farms for those solar cells. And we have seen a couple of the new ones, big solar farms, in order for us to compensate for any loss of electricity. Right now, we're having 2 hours of no electricity in some cities because of the hits on their infrastructure and so on and so forth. But we are already thinking about other solutions to the problem. We're going to defend ourselves, but we're going to go to other sources too. And as Truth said, it's not like we have a couple of these power plants in Iran. It's more than 130. And then they cannot do this in large scale before we retaliate, and they're going to be lights out before we are. So from that perspective,
tell the truth. You guys also have geothermal.
Hold on, Happy, brother.
Okay.
Hold on, Happy, brother.
So let me make sure.
Geothermal springs are very impressive.
Okay. So Truth. Let me make sure I have this right. You're saying there's 130 power plants with micro generators. It'd be impossible for the United States to get rid of all the power plants without the Gulf states suffering some type of consequence. Then you said, as far as desalination plants go, Iran only utilizes about 8 to 10% of its fresh water from desalination plants.
Less than 8% of Iran's water is derived from water desalination plants. The rest is freshwater sources.
Okay. Is it true that Iran produces 80% of its? 80%. Is it true that Iran produces 80% of their own food as well? I heard that. I read that somewhere.
Dude, they're net food exporters. They
produce
all their own food. Yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna turn it to McMercy.
They actually export food to the Gulf states, believe it or not, spices
Yeah.
too, to those fucking
They're,
ingrates.
they're the breadbasket of the Middle East that no one ever gives them credit for. Mercy, I'm going to turn it to you. So I see your analogy, fantastic analogy. Obviously, if you're on fire, you're going to focus on that instead of the thorn. But let me ask you this: what has the government kind of done to prepare the people for potential blackouts, potential water issues, even though it's only 8%? The currency crashing from earlier in the year. What's the government kind of been doing to take care of the people during this fucking chaos?
Well, actually, most of it is nothing new. We have been living like this for 47 years. Even the blackouts, and not because we didn't have the power, because we have been giving power to Afghanistan and Iraq. At least these two are confirmed. And we were giving them electricity while we had to endure some lack of electricity. You could say 2 hours a day is the norm in height of summer. But when I look at all of this, I see that yes, it's a little bit harder than before. We cannot deny that it's obvious, any country at war would have something like this. But when we look at the larger picture, we're going to see, first of all, if we don't do this right now, it's going to remain so for the rest of our lives and the lives of next generations. We have to do something. That is the mindset. We don't like fighting. We don't like wars. We don't like seeing other people killed, not our fellow Iranians, not even Americans or anyone else for that matter. But logically, when you look at it, if you don't respond to the aggression, if you don't stand united and do something about this with all the risk that it has, and you're talking about the hardship because of the money and electricity, we're prepared for nuclear bombs because they have said this over and over. And they have, yeah, we know they're capable, and they have done this to, this is the only country that has used nuclear weapons against civilian populations. So Hiroshima, Nagasaki. So we know they're capable, and they have been signaling that they're going to do so, and we're prepared for it. So yes, it is hard, but no matter how hard it gets, the bulk of Iranian society, as you saw in the procession and the funeral of the supreme leader, we are all for resistance, which means we're going to stand our ground until it is completely safe. And it's not going to be safe until this war is won. And that's it. So, yeah,
I
hardship
just
is
want to
there,
correct
but we're
something
going
real
to do it.
quick, because I just tossed in the nest so people can see a visual of what Myron and everybody's talking about with the GBU 57, and up there as well. It says the United States currently has an estimated inventory of basically only 6 to 15 GBU 57s left after the Air Force expended 14 of those 30,000-pound bunker busters against the Iranian nuclear facilities. Due to the inventory depletions, the Pentagon awarded Boeing a contract to restock and replenish, but no shipments are expected till 2028. So I guess we are actually extremely low on those.
Fuck yeah, we are. No one's asking the right fucking question, dude. The question isn't about what we can do to fucking Iran. The question is how do we fucking detach ourselves from Israel? So fuck this notion of these hyper managerial.
Iran's handling that because once they deal with the GCC, Israel's next. So that's how
We need to go ahead and detach ourselves
untangle.
fucking now.
It's not going to happen with Trump as
with the current
president,
regime in
Happy.
power. That's
It's
not going to
not
happen
going
with
to
the current
happen with.
regime.
Oh, I agree. Trump has fucked us. I agree. As a 3-time Trump voter, he has fucked us over royally.
Yes,
You are
I
correct.
voted for Trump twice. I would have voted for him when I was in high school, but I wasn't old enough. So yes, I agree.
All right.
Okay, so give me your guys' idea of a feasible forward working plan.
Happy, we got a bunch of hands here, and I've been addressing this question for years now in my spaces. So I don't know what to do with Israel. You just got to boycott all the systems in place because politicians aren't going to do anything. They're going to continue maintaining aid to Israel. In fact, now they want to integrate the U.S. military with the IDF so they can just fund them to the Pentagon budget and not have to worry about.
I think we voted that down, didn't we?
No,
it's going to get pushed through.
It's going to get pushed through the Pentagon budget. So it's one of the amendments there.
You think they're going to back down with just one vote?
Exactly.
Seriously?
There you go, McMercy. Exactly.
And they're going to integrate CIA with Mossad.
In quick breaking news, Lebanon President Joseph Yuan has left Lebanon for the U.S. to meet Trump on Tuesday. So there you go.
Correct. All right, let's go to Make Sense. Go ahead. Make Sense. Are you there?
Yeah. Hey guys, how you
You
doing?
guys to come up.
What's going on? I really appreciate you. Right on. I had a strong question for Myron, and it sort of touches like on everything else that you guys have been talking about, as well as
Sure.
Truth himself. So if we're gonna move forward with a plan, right, we're gonna have to look at the reality. Myron, whether people like him or not, yes, I am a supporter, a fan, and everything else. But I'm also critical. But at the same time, he is a person that exposed a lot to our generation, and he showed us that hey, there is a, what can I say? There's a wedge in the Republican Party right now, right? Where there's AIPAC supporters and there's non-AIPAC supporters. And the same damn thing is going on within the Democrat Party, which is AIPAC supporters and non-AIPAC supporters. And the best thing we're going to get is what? A whole bunch of Mamdanis and a whole bunch of Bernie Sanders, right? So it's coming to a point right now, guys, because there's an election happening. And Myron, you touched on this, and you kept it real with Thomas Massie. And what I'm saying is, if we don't come to a conclusion and say, all right, this is going to be our go-to guy, because think about it, for us to have a plan, right, and have something concrete, it's literally going to be the only way to even have a fucking chance, to take America back, as they say, the
Um,
TLP
I'll
movement.
I'll add a little bit to what. Well, oh, hold on. Ask your question. I didn't mean to cut you. Finish your question, then I'll say what I
Yeah,
respond.
and the other thing is like I love what you're doing too, bro. Like you're bringing in different communities. You having the background that you do have, you don't
Thank you,
deny
man.
things. No, keeping it real. Like
And bro, don't thank me. Thank True Teller. Every time I come up here, he gives me a mic immediately. He shows me great hospitality, lets me cut the line and
God
everything.
bless
So
him, man.
thank
God
True
God
Teller as
bless you,
well.
Truth. I'm sort of new to this like spaces, so I just followed you. So excuse me,
No,
man.
you're good. You're good, bro.
No disrespect,
You're
but
good, bro.
But yeah, so like I think we're coming to a point where you got to remember Kamala Harris was on this guy's ass like in a book. I mean, it's just insane. Like this is so big on many different levels, and I like to think of us as like zillennials, if I can say that. You know what I mean? If that makes
Yeah.
sense, Mark.
No. It's
Right?
it's all good. Let me address some of the points you brought up. I agree with you. The Democrat Party is way ahead of us when it comes to the Israel problem. I think that at this point, please someone correct me if I'm wrong, something like 90% plus of the Democrat Party is officially no longer supporting Israel.
There was a
what
poll. There was a poll
Go
from
ahead.
Pew Research in April, and it was about 80% of Democrat voters have an unfavorable view of Israel, and 41% of Republican voters. So
Okay. That's as
yes,
of April.
so
Okay.
yes, as of April, I'd assume those numbers have gone up slightly. So yes, they're way ahead, and you actually see them making progress on electing candidates. But no, it was the Democrat socialists who, oh, cool, they're based on Israel. They won't give Ukraine money. They don't view that as a viable political solution because they believe in literally getting rid of ICE, giving illegal immigrants citizenship. They don't know the difference between a man and a
Well,
woman, and
yeah, and
and they're pro-feminist.
I
So
was going to address that actually. So this is what I'm seeing when it comes to American domestic policy and how it's affecting us here. Right now, obviously, the Israel question has created an enormous rift in the political sphere. Right on the Democrat Party side, it's pretty much cooked. If you're pro-Israel, you are no longer considered cool. You're considered one of these gatekeeper type Democrats like a Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, John Fetterman, Chuck Schumer, blah blah blah. These are old guard Democrats that no one fucking likes anymore. And now the cool Democrats are guys like Zohran Mamdani, Bernie Sanders, AOC, etc. And I would argue that Zohran Mamdani is the most powerful Democrat in America right now. And the reason why is because after Kamala Harris lost, Mamdani basically created a way for the Democrat Party to become cool and relevant again and actually have a strategy to fight against the Republicans. And that secret weapon that they're going to utilize is anti-Israel rhetoric and, most importantly, fucking socialism. I predict we're already seeing it right now. It's not even I predict. We're already seeing the rise of Democrat socialism as we speak. We see Mamdani endorsing candidates and they're winning. So I predict for 2026 and definitely by 2028, Democrat socialism will have taken over the party, and the whole anti-Israel thing is going to be, completely overtaken on the left. Now, when it comes to the right-wing conservative side, we're behind as usual. We're the less cool party. We have historically been run by Zionists and neocons, etc. So we're going to have to do a little bit more work on our end. Now, here's some things that I think are promising, even though I don't really like them too much. I'll give you an example. As you guys know, JD Vance went on the Joe Rogan podcast, right? And he took very middle of the road takes on very divisive topics like Israel, Epstein, etc. And I can tell from the way that JD Vance was answering questions that he absolutely has his finger on the pulse and knows that Israel is an extremely unfavorable topic. He knows that it is a losing position, maybe not now, but by 2028, if not beyond. And I do think that he's trying to somewhat pivot and find a way to toe the line between being loyal to Trump and supporting him while simultaneously not tanking his 2028 ambitions should he run. Marco Rubio, I don't think is as in touch like JD Vance is with, like, you know, the social media aspect. He's still, you know, your typical traditional Lindsey Graham, neocon, Bush era, fucking, you know, let's save Israel type Republican. So look, I don't like either candidate, to be honest. I hope we can maybe get someone else that's, you know, better. I think this is why obviously Nick has the strategy of, hey, we got to get the Democrats in for midterms. That's going to destroy the Republican Party. That will allow us to create a space for a new Republican that actually cares about America versus, you know, an AstroTurf politician like JD Vance or, you know, a neocon shill like Marco Rubio. But, you know, for us, dude, we're always behind the schedule, and I would not be surprised if it might take us 1 or 2 more election cycles to finally fucking wake up with the Israel problem, because I would argue
Myron,
that
I think you're
real fast,
wrong on that.
the Jewish lobby, the Jewish lobby still runs the Republican Party. But go ahead, Mercy.
Absolutely, they run the fucking Republican Party.
Yeah, you see, the left, the right side, it got out of the control. They wanted control opposition. I'm not going to name any names, but it got out of control on that one very specific point. Does Israel have the right to exist? But from the left, what I see is it's all controlled opposition. Now, you can say aiding Israel is wrong. They're committing genocide. They're bad people. They're raping people. But in the end, I support Israel's right to exist. So this becomes like a conversation rather than an existential question. So what I see from the left and the right is actually both of them, most of them at least, are led by Israel because they go right up to the line. Like Bernie Sanders, he's a Democrat. What does he say? He says Israel is committing genocide, they're bad people, but in the end, when he's asked, do you support the right of Palestinians to vote? He says no, because if they do, there would be no Israel, because they're more and they're going to vote whatever, and it's not going to be Israel. So when it comes to that final point that would determine, are you really pro-Israel or against Israel? We see most of them, if not all of them, are pro-Israel, even though they are criticizing Israel, but in the end, they're not. So I do think if you think you can pin your hopes on this Democrats winning the House and then clearing it, and then it's going to be all fine, I don't think that's going to happen.
So Mercy, real quick,
and the issue is the
hold on.
Democrats
Let
will
me
never
just respond to that, because Mercy made a fantastic point, and I gotta respond to it real quick. Mercy, I agree with you that the one of the biggest questions to expose Democrats in America is to ask them, does Israel have a right to exist? And this actually speaks perfectly to what I'm going to say. You're correct. People like AOC, Bernie Sanders, John Fetterman, Chuck Schumer, etc. These old guard, which I would say AOC and Bernie Sanders are kind of, you know, switching up. But your old guard Democrats, when asked that question, they'll always say, yes, Israel does have a right to exist and they have a right to defend themselves. But Mamdani has started a new wave because they've asked Mamdani the same exact question. What does he say? He says Israel has a right to exist as a state that's equal for all. And that is the big distinguishment between the new Democrat Socialist Party cool guys that are taking over the Democrat Party and then the old guard that you described. I agree with you. The typical Democrat rhetoric for this question was, I support their right to exist. But now guys like Mamdani are coming in. They do not have a right to exist the way they are now. They have a right to exist when they give equal rights to all. So I think that's going to be the new Democrat slogan. I see people like Khanna accepting this. I think Khanna getting stopped in the West Bank was a huge fucking red pill for American politicians. He finally got to see what it's like to be a Palestinian. So I do agree with you that is absolutely the way Democrats normally answer, but I am seeing a shift where more of these guys are starting to take the Mamdani quote, which is, hey, they don't have a right to exist the way that they are. And then I was going to say one other thing. I talked about Khanna. All right, I'll yield it back to Mercy if you wanted to respond, or Andy.
Yeah, of course. I want to add 2 things. Now, first of all, Mamdani himself, he answered yes. Yes, some conditions came after that, but he said, yes, Israel does have the right to exist. And I think this is the bigger distinction than what comes after but. And second thing, you know that he's got connections to Epstein through his mother. I'm not going to get into that, but this is like, you can see clear as day the connection between Mamdani. And JD Vance, wasn't that strange to you? He came up and just said Israel is wrong and whatever. And Mark Levin hit back and said he should apologize to Israelis and Americans who are supporting Israel. But he didn't say something like that to Mamdani. Yes, they cursed at him or whatever, but they didn't consider him a real opposition because of this reason, I think. So I think, yes, Mamdani is actually the best of them, and he is allowed to go even further. But that main idea, Israel has the right to exist, that's the constant, even with him.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. It is. I agree with you. It is the constant. But what I'm saying is that Mamdani adds the political veneer of they have a right to exist, once they're equal to all. Also, I want to address one more thing, Mercy, as well. And I'm glad we're having this discussion. I hope you guys are all enjoying it. I will say this, something else I've noticed in the Democrat Party. Historically, right, people like AOC, Bernie Sanders, etc., have said, not only have they said, oh, Israel has a right to exist, they also kind of surreptitiously vote for Iron Dome funding and the sling and the arrow system, right? Historically, they've always voted to beef those things up while simultaneously not voting to send Israel weapons. So in their eyes, it's their kind of way of getting around it where they could say, well, we don't want to support Israel's ability to kill people, but we'll support their ability to defend themselves. And rightfully so, a lot of these crazy leftists called out AOC and Bernie Sanders for this because, and I agree with them actually on this, you cannot give Israel money for the Iron Dome, the sling, and the arrow, and say that you're not also defending Israel, because those air defense systems are directly the reason why Israel is able to attack with the level of aggression that they do.
Bingo.
So if you actually want to be able to stop Israel, you have to stop giving them money from both the defensive and the attack angle. And AOC and Bernie Sanders got caught on this. Now, here's the big turning point. Khanna, after his visit to the West Bank, stood by Thomas Massie to eliminate all funding to Israel, to include defensive and offensive, which I think is a huge move in American politics, because this is typically something that would never be discussed. So I do see the Democrat Party shifting a lot faster than the Republican Party into a more Israel needs to be a real democracy and give the Palestinians some type of right before we continue to support them. But I do see a slight change. Hey, is it as fast as we want? Probably not. But this is some huge headway that a Democrat is voting to stop funding altogether for Israel, even for their air defense systems.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, but something else is missing here, Myron. You have to remember that Israel is trying to merge its military and intelligence with the United States. Now, look at it at that context. They are saying we shouldn't help Israel anymore. We shouldn't give them aid. But at the meantime, they are merging the military intelligence installations in the United States with Israelis. And what happens then? Ben Gvir even came out and said, we don't want American aid anymore. Netanyahu even emphasized that. Why? Because it's not going to be like we're going to be begging them anymore. We're going to own them. So in that scenario, yes, you go and say, I hate that we are helping Israel. We're not going to give them any more weapons and whatnot. But when your military is the same, when your intelligence is the same, it doesn't matter what you say.
No,
so
and
again,
actually,
I'm coming back to this point.
No, I agree with you on that, Mercy. I actually do agree with you on that. That this bill is crazy, and obviously it's a bipartisan, problems on both sides. But what I'm highlighting is that there is a shift with the DSA versus your old guard Democrats. But yes, when you talk about that bill that you're talking about, where Israeli technology be utilized in U.S. Computer systems and data systems and equipment in general, that is a problem. Now, from what I understand, and I want to get this from you guys, the last I heard is it got rejected and they were pushing it back up. So, but I heard someone earlier saying that it is going to get passed. What's the deal with that? Did we change something in the last 24, 48 hours on it? Or
still rejected as far as we know?
Because it's very unpopular, surprisingly.
The Pentagon budget for $1.5 trillion, it added the amendment there to do the merger that way. So they can bypass
so they completely.
Much harder one to reject.
So
you're saying the Pentagon can go ahead and override both the House and the Senate? That sounds kind of weird.
Looks like they took a shortcut.
Adding the amendment into the Pentagon budget.
Also, people have said they're going to attach it to the Save America Act thing.
Yes, they are going to attach it to the Save America Act.
Motherfuckers.
Reconciliation. Then they'll only need 50 votes when they tie it to budget.
Motherfuckers.
These Jews
would never let
what I was
that
trying
not
to say
happen.
earlier about the Democrats, the issue with them is they'll say, oh, it's Israel, but like the people on the right, like you, Nick, they'll name the Jew. The issue with the Democrats is they'll never name the Jew.
Yeah, they never will.
Say, oh, it's Zionists. But they'll
Absolutely.
never. They'll Democrats. Jews own the media. Jews own Hollywood. They'll never say that. They'll just say, "Oh, it's some Zionism." Like,
Netanyahu.
Yep.
yeah, they'll even
Right.
say it's Netanyahu. They'll think, "Oh, there could be a Jewish liberal government, and then Israel will be great." No, all the fuckers running to replace Netanyahu make Netanyahu look like a moderate. You freaking
And
have
that solidifies your
You have
observation.
Naftali
They're playing
Bennett
both
talking
sides
about
in the
bombing
fucking middle.
fucking Turkey, and
Yeah.
Ben Gavir is literally got his post
And you
censored
got a
on
lot of
Twitter. He's so
hands.
crazy.
You got a lot of hands to do with gradually and wind down the space as well. We'll go to Freedom Fighter, then Lou, and we'll go from there. Go ahead, Freedom Fighter.
What's up, Myron? I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
The question that I have is, do you think that with the political rhetoric that's going on with the Democrat Party, do you think openly they're going to say that they don't support Israel, but behind closed doors, they're going to support Israel?
Are you referring to the Democrat Party or the Republican Party? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Democrat.
Okay, so I've always had this joke, and I love that you say this. Like, my joke has always been the Republican Party openly sucks Zionist cock, while the Democrats do it in the closet. But I would say that dick sucking in the closet doesn't have much more time left. That's what I would say.
So you think long term, it's slowly going to fade away?
Oh, dude, it is, because I'm starting to see like guys like Gavin Newsom, who went to fucking Israel after October 7th. Now he's saying crazy shit like, well, it's kind of an apartheid state, it's kind of a genocide. These are things that American politicians wouldn't dare say prior to 2023. So, I do think that when it comes to Democrat Party and Israel support, they're on their last lifeline.
And what do you think the likelihood is for the Israelis to possibly use a nuke against Iran?
Man, dude, if Israel was a rational actor, I'd be like, probably not. They're not that dumb. But these motherfuckers are crazy, bro. Like, these guys, like, these motherfuckers bombed Qatar, an ally of ours, after we had just been there, secured a bunch of fucking money and investment. They're an ally of ours. They're responsible for facilitating the meetings between, Hamas and the Israelis, and they still fucking bombed them, trying to kill fucking a couple of Hamas leaders. Like, these guys are fucking out of control, dude. Out of control.
And do you think do you think
Hold
that's
on a second. You're not going to get multiple questions here. I'm going to answer that as well. First of all, one nuke is not going to do anything. It's got to be like 50 to make any type of difference against Iran. It's a massive country. Two, Iran's already said you strike us with a nuke. Well, the IRGC general said, then we'll experiment with a nuke for the first time in a combat scenario. And if you believe Larry Johnson and also Pepe Escobar, Iran likely already has a nuke. So there's consequences. Israel knows this as well. Iran will strike back accordingly if they ever had the audacity to do that. Okay.
Israel's so small, 3 nukes wipes them out.
Yeah, one. Plus, there's the Palestinian issue. They have like human shields. All right, let's go to Lou.
Hey, what's going on, Truth?
Good, man. What's happening?
Chilling, yo. All right, cool. Yo, Myron.
Yo.
What's good? Don't ever drop me, okay? That's it. That's all I gotta say. Don't drop me from this fucking thing, all right?
What the
All right,
fuck?
so I don't think he dropped you, man. It might have been a glitch. But
Number
hell
one.
no. He dropped me, yo.
Okay. Number one, it wasn't me. Number two, you can fuck off. I don't even know why you're in here being a fucking retarded pot smoking retard. You've added nothing to the fucking conversation, dude.
Helping out people in New York, yo. What the fuck, man?
Yo, are
Bro,
yo,
Myron told me I was
yo,
on
yo,
cocaine,
dude.
told me to shut up. Just do what you're told
Bro,
and you'll have a good time, okay, bro?
like, dude, are you like a fucking primate or something? Am I talking to a fucking chimpanzee retard? Do you fucking drool on your fucking pillowcase?
No, actually, acknowledge what you do, and
Actually, yes.
I appreciate what you do. You're very, very good. You're very good, but don't ever drop me on from the space, yo.
Number one, I didn't drop you. Number two, it's clear your mom fucking dropped you, which is the issue here. You're slurring your words like a fucking idiot, and the sad part is you're probably more than likely sober, you faggot. So please shut the fuck up.
I am sober, yo. The fuck are you talking about?
Wait, you're sober and speak this way?
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is how I speak, bro.
Okay, let me tell you something, buddy. You're so much of a fucking retard. When you took the school bus to school, you had 3 other niggas on the bus with you, and it was still fucking crowded. Okay? You're one of these fucking mouth-breathing, drooling, idiotic fucks that has to change his fucking pillowcase every morning because you wake up with your mouth open, breathing through your mouth because you're a mouth-breathing idiot, and your mom has to replace your fucking pillowcase because you're too fucking stupid to do it yourself. You're that type of fucking guy.
Myron, yo, I respect you for what you're doing. You man cool. but don't ever drop me from the space, okay?
Okay, once
I don't believe
again,
you're fucking
once
sober. You're a
again,
fucking
you've
liar,
clearly been
asshole.
dropped on your head,
Shut
and it
up,
took you.
happy. No one's talking to you.
Lou, it's very clear that the only thing that got dropped is you, and it took you 7 years to fucking graduate from high school. You're literally a Super Saiyan fucking retard senior. So, and you're over here talking shit. It's incredible.
I'm not talking shit, but just don't drop me from the space, bro.
All right,
Incredible.
Let's move on.
This is
It's
retarded.
fine. Let's
Myron, you
Truth, I don't even know how to fucking drop this fucking retard like his mom did. Is there a way I can do this?
you dropped me. Stop fucking lying, bro. You dropped
No,
me.
no, no.
You
I
know,
want to drop you
Lou,
now,
my
you
name-
fucking
Shut
idiot.
the fuck up, you fucking
Let's,
retard.
Happy, shut the fuck up and go suck off Myron's dick, bro. Fuck you talking about,
He
nigga.
doesn't like me either, so fuck you first.
Both of y'all
Shut
is
the
in the
fuck up.
gas chamber.
guys, let's
First,
move on.
time out. Wait. True.
This
Let me
is petty.
speak. Myron, I respect you. I fucking love what you're doing, but please don't drop me, all right?
Okay, let's move on. All right. I want to welcome Inevitable. What's happening? But before that, let's go to Jovan. He's been waiting quietly for a while. Jovan, what's up? Jovan, are you there? Going once, going twice.
You're talking to me.
Put your hand up. It's your turn.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, because some people mixed up Cyrillic and whatever. So you have to acknowledge that Israel is the one of the pillars of the petrodollar system. So Israel was very beneficial to for the U.S. It enabled it to print dollars into a zoo, endlessly print dollars and enable the life standard in the U.S. So you have to be grateful to Israel for. And the rest of the world.
What the fuck? All right, let me mute this shit chat. I'm sorry, rewind. This dude's a fucking retard.
Personally, that you're all the same thing, and this is a hoax for the American public to blame Israel on everything. It's all Israel's fault, but we others are complete angels. We didn't do nothing. So that's the story, and I think that's a lie. No one's going to believe you that outside of the U.S. And regarding the Iran
I'm sorry,
already
he's a
has a
fucking
nuke.
Jew.
Iran or no, you're a Jew. You're a Jew because you're pretending
Fucking
you're
Happy
innocent. It's all
stupid, yo.
Jews, but you're working together, Americans and Jews and Europeans. When you make moves which prove otherwise, instead of only words, I might believe you. So
Jovan,
Iran
you don't
already
What's your
has a
point?
nuke.
Hold on a sec. Jovan,
What
you
the
don't think
fuck are you
Israel,
talking?
you don't think Israel controls American politicians, the American
No,
media,
they are one
the American
entity.
banks?
Israel and the US are one entity.
You mean the Jews control both, is what you're trying to say?
They merged together. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't care what happens
or
inside.
they merged. You want to
I
say they
wouldn't say
merged?
merge.
Who is it that controls all the major banks in the U.S., the major hedge funds,
Thank you.
BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard? Who controls it? Is it
Yes, but
Americans
that's
or
a
is it
question
Jews?
for you inside the US. For us outside of the US, we only see a
It's
black
not a
box.
question. Everyone already knows in the U.S. People know it outside of the U.S. because
Yeah,
BlackRock's
it's the Jews.
multinational. They have
It's the
offices
Jews,
everywhere. Okay,
but
thank you. It's the
uh,
Jews.
they
Thank you.
they also have support from the Americans.
All right, Joe, but what's your actual grievance with anything that we're saying in this space? Can you articulate your actual grievance, please?
Okay, my grievance was actually the Iranian nuclear program. It's pointless to discuss about it because that's only story for the US media, so that's irrelevant. What is relevant is the actual nuke that Iran has, and it's ticking off. It's called the Strait of Hormuz. And the US troops are actually bombing around Strait of Hormuz right now. So this latest attack is around Strait of Hormuz to try to unblock it, which is not going to happen. And don't pretend that this is not going to crash the US stock market eventually. Maybe in 2 months.
Joba, look, dude. What is your what is your disagreement, dude? Please sum it up in one sentence. You have a very tough accent. Your mic isn't, best quality. No offense. Can you please tell us what your actual one sentence, dude? Please.
My grievance is that you're talking about irrelevant topics like nuclear program, and you're not talking about the main topic, the Strait of Hormuz. That's
okay.
it.
We did talk about the Strait of Hormuz and Bab al-Mandeb Strait as well. We did that earlier. Maybe you just weren't here because you got here late.
Yeah, but the effect on the US, the effect on the US of the Strait of Hormuz. That's kind of
Yeah, it's
neglected.
fucking us. We talked about it earlier.
What do you mean?
Diesel
It's
prices,
been
Fucking said the
discussed.
same thing
The
10 minutes
cost
ago.
of
Don't
diesel's
interrupt me
also
again, you
cost
faggots.
of diesel's also gone up to $5. I don't really understand why you think that's been neglected. It hasn't. Because
Yeah, bro, we've
straits impact
discussed,
20% of the world's oil supplies plus 30% of the world's fertilizer supplies. Of course,
dude,
it's a
dude.
big deal.
We've already discussed this, but look, you got to understand that the reason why the nuclear program is significant is because that is exactly what American politicians are utilizing to justify this war. That's why it's relevant to the conversation, dude.
Just like weapons of mass destruction for Iraq.
there you
Or
go.
fake.
Yeah, great, bro. You're able to connect something. We agree. We've been saying that's the issue the whole time.
All right.
There you go.
Fascinating. All right. Let's go to.
Holy shit.
I want to hear from Inevitable. What's happening, man?
Hey, what's up? No, it seems like a hell of a time. Well, no,
here inevitable.
yeah, I'm
What's
learning
good?
so much. Yeah, I'm enriched. No, I was kind of I'm a little out of touch, and by that I mean like the last like 6 or 8 hours.
to the shadow.
So I don't know if anything crazy happened.
The future is
but
mine.
I've been kind of like locked in. Yeah.
Jordan. Iran's hitting Jordan and Kuwait again. They were launching missiles towards it, so hostilities continue.
Well, the missiles that I've seen hitting Jordan, ironically, have been kind of like they've been equipped with MIRVs, which, obviously, when you see missiles dodging interceptors, that's basically what that is. And North Korea kind of paved the way to being able to have cheap MIRVs, relatively speaking. So that just means like $1 million per head versus like, or cheap, obviously cheap missiles that can do that, $1 million per head as opposed to like 20 to 30 million, which frankly, even China and Russia's versions of those are cost around that much, at least the hypersonic ones.
You said
So,
MIRVs, meaning multiple. Multiple
yeah,
entry
like
vehicles?
reentry vehicles. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the reentry vehicles, which so Iran has
The
pretty
ability
much
to
taken.
evade air defenses.
Exactly, yeah. Iran has pretty much taken the Nodong missile was the one from the 90s that North Korea kind of like really got started, and now Iran's like, even the Khorramshahr 4 has that as well, which is it's a heavy ass fucking missile, and it's hypersonic too obviously, but it's got the so-called cluster munitions. Really, it's the way I like to word it. I don't know. It's just you can have 80 of those. I think even truth, you mentioned it even earlier this week too, and we've talked about it before too, but again, you're seeing like a lot of the videos that you see where it looks like a fucking firework like in the sky. Those all like every single one of those miniature heads. Well, yeah, miniature like attachments, those clusters, if you will, on the attached to the warhead. They have a fucking pinpoint target. Like they're not just randomly dropping the way that Israel's are just randomly hitting wherever the fuck they hit in southern Lebanon, for example, right? Right. Even in '06 they were doing that. They're not doing that. So I think Iran is throwing some of their better, well, relatively speaking, some of their better stuff, some of their more sophisticated, obviously, missiles at Jordan, because it seems like Jordan is it's the most well protected of even like compared to the GCC states or Kuwait and Bahrain and
Well,
whatnot.
it's also the main state that was used to defend Israel, from Iranian missiles and drones. The air defense
Isn't that
systems that they.
ironic? Israel
Yeah,
gets
don't
the
they have a
best
THAAD
protection.
battery?
Yeah, you can't hit the.
I think they
It's
got a
just funny.
THAAD battery there too.
A that and it might be that air base. But
Yeah, I
man,
think that's the one in
that's been
Jordan.
getting
Yeah.
fucking killed, bro. That's been getting killed.
Yeah, by the way,
So
multiple impacts were recorded on Jordan. It's been hit successfully again. Though Mario Fall tried to say otherwise and say that all 10 of the missiles were intercepted, that's obviously a lie. Videos came out saying otherwise. Plus, there's been multiple injuries reported, which CBS News confirmed.
CBS.
yeah, I don't know what's up with him. He's kind of been I don't know. Everything I've heard from him has been like diametrically fucking opposite of reality lately,
Sit
and
on the
that's
fence.
for his standards.
Fence sitter.
Well, he also said like Israel, or rather Iran's, potentially have degraded their ability to deliver missiles or whatever their capacity. It's like,
Because their
dude, no, it's not.
output's less because they're using submunitions instead. Like, he just makes it up as he goes.
That Sanju
And
money.
novice and always looks dumb when he talks to guys like Colonel McGregor and also Larry Johnson. They always check him on his
Oh,
bullshit.
bro, he had McGregor on months ago. And McGregor was like, he's like, I will leave this if you, with what he was talking about Russia and Putin or something like that. And he's like, Russia's getting killed on the front lines. Russia's losing this and that. And Colonel McGregor, and then something about Iran. Colonel McGregor literally is like, Mario, I know who you are. I know what you're about. Like, if you're just going to like eat, I don't know if he swore, but he's like, basically, if you're just going to fuck around like this, I'll just leave now. And then he's like, okay, Colonel McGregor. And then he kind of backed off a little bit.
Yeah, he had to straighten up. I think I heard that one too. Yeah, but the submunitions, yeah, truth. That's exactly it. Not cluster. Cluster is what fucking Israel uses. Submunitions. That's got actual direction on the terminal phase down. And Chrome Star 4, man, that's fucking beauty,
Yeah,
dude.
Ukraine and
I didn't,
Israel.
to be honest, I didn't even really believe at first that the whole 80, like it could really do 80 effectively, like 80 fucking heads. Until really, to be honest, until I saw it with my
Those are
eyes.
guided munitions, each one. So
Yes.
good luck, right?
Guided munitions, every
They're a
single
defense system
fucking
for
one
that.
of them. And so when you see, like, for example, 2 defense systems, because it was funny, it seemed like they were just blowing up in the sky. It seems like they were actually connecting on like 2 or 3 of them, the defense interceptors. Yeah, they're connecting on 2 or 3 of them, but if there's fucking like 40 of them out of 3 out of 40, dude, the other fucking 37 are gonna hit where they're
Yeah, and
intending
you
to
got
hit.
two interceptors at each missile at least.
And how much do those interceptors cost?
Each THAAD interceptor is 12.1 million each, and that's the THAAD.
This
couple million.
So actually, this brings up a very good topic that I wanted to kind of segue to real quick. Obviously, you guys know that Israel's ability to fight with Iran is typically contingent upon their stockpile of interceptor missiles, etc. We know that the 12-day war, they use a significant amount. We know early on in this conflict, they use a significant amount when Iran was relentlessly bombing them. Right now, as we speak, I highly doubt that Israel's been able to, replenish back to 100 or even that much in general. Based on what we know from before and how many missiles were used, but obviously with the Gulf states and Israel, like how much longer can these guys fend off attacks from Iran without finally start everything getting through? How much longer can they do this?
That's tough.
It's hard to tell because they'll
Weekly.
just jack shit from all over the world. They'll take shit from like South Korea with the THAAD batteries. They'll take Patriot missiles and stuff. And
but here's the thing: I think they already got the Koreans one over. They already moved the one from Korea.
Quick update.
Yeah, they did. Yep.
Breaking Iran launched simultaneous missiles and drones destroying troop headquarters with at least 2 fighter jets and 3 U.S. aircraft completely destroyed. This is by Solomon Ahmed.
Okay, I'm fairly certain every single analysis you guys want to go ahead and talk about, as far as we're concerned about what Iran can do, is probably somewhere in a Jane's Defense Weekly analysis. It's that fucking easy, okay? The question we have avoided.
Okay, Mercy, can you repeat that, bro? That breaking news that you just had? You came in a little unclear, please.
Yes. Iran launched simultaneous missiles and drones destroying troop headquarters with at least 2 fighter jets and 3 U.S. aircraft completely destroyed.
No pilots inside. I'm assuming it was like landed on the ground.
In Jordan, okay.
No, Jordan. Yes, it's the base in Jordan. We have been hitting it 2 days ago, and we are upping the volume.
So basically, they destroyed a couple fighter jets that were just sitting there in a hangar somewhere.
Well, a couple fighter jets, 3. It says 3 U.S. aircrafts and 2 fighter jets, and of course, it is where the troops were gathering. So this is, again, we were talking about this in the beginning of the space, that Iran is changing the strategy at least this little bit, that killing American troops in the region is part of it. Not just the infrastructure, not just the military targets, but the troops that are here are also a target. And this was announced by multiple Iranian IRGC commanders, political elite, and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
so we're
Larry
looking good
Johnson
on that
from
too.
that too.
You know what? This is
more casualties.
Kudos.
Yeah, and this is obviously why this is such a problem, man, and why we don't have escalation dominance. The Iranians know that the midterms are around the corner, and they also know that full-on conflict with soldiers dying is extremely unfavorable in the United States, because obviously everyone still has a bad taste in their mouth from Iraq. So it makes sense now that they're ramping it up to try to create as many casualties as possible to make this politically unbearable for Donald Trump.
Your question before the Myron, it's hard to tell. I mean, obviously we know Israel will never tell us what they have for interceptors and shit, but it's like with the David Sling, the Arrow.
We do know their output, though.
Yeah, they're definitely low. I just feel like I don't know. I feel like somehow they'll fucking make it work. Somehow they'll steal it from
I'm
Ukraine,
fucking
wherever it
tired of
is.
saying
But
it, dude. Look up Jane's Defense Weekly, dude. It will give you all the fucking parameters you need to fucking do.
Well,
all
why don't
right,
you
that's
do
a
it,
good
right?
point.
You do that first, and then give it to us.
No,
But
I
as far as
no.
Guys,
it
there's
depends
a
on
next
which
step you're
missile
not
system as well,
seeing.
which defense system as well. Though that's what we want to
Guys,
maybe target on, like the Arrow specifically, right? There's like
Yes,
they blew their Arrow, like 3 and 2 interceptors
correct.
specifically. You're waiting in traffic. I appreciate that. Maybe run into it. But like the 3 or 4 are, the 3 and 2 Arrow, right? They have like 34, 35. Well,
the future is mine.
But they're 3 or 4, 34 to 35, I believe, that they've blown just in the as far as the long range defense system that they've blown like in the last 2 years. Between, if you go by like the 12-day war now, again, they don't have more than 100. I don't
True
have the
Promise
exact
1.
number,
Yeah, but
but I know for a fact they don't have more than 100 left, and it takes
bro,
forever
even
to. Yeah, good.
even still, Iran's already cracked the formula, and it'll be even easier with Jordan out of the way on how to breach their multi-layered air defense system. So that's to swarm it with drones, and then of course you bring in the missiles, and within about 8 minutes they deplete, and then they have a small window of opportunity where they have to replenish the battery with interceptor missiles, and that's where they can go to town and hit their targets. They already know how to crack.
They've showed it all
the
during True
code.
Promise 1 and True Promise 2. That's when
Yeah, they figured it
Israel
out after
started
True
freaking out.
Promise 1. So they know the formula,
Absolutely.
irrespective. Yeah, they already know the formula on how to hit basically anything within Israel, irrespective of whether they have full, replenishment of the air defense systems or not. So it's moot point at this point. All right,
Even
I'll do
the
a few
even
more.
the restrictions though,
Cruz,
when you
I
think about it,
wanted
like
to just add something to what Myron was
let me
saying.
just one more thing. Even the restrictions though, as far as like so Germany has been a huge factor too. They've look, these are big money deals as far as like Israel and Germany. It's like their biggest, relatively their biggest supplier, especially outside of the U.S. But they're restricted when it comes to how much they can put out because of the energy issues that Germany has. It takes a shitload to be able to produce output. So yeah, I know like
They
7
have to
or
shut down
8.
the VW plant. Now they have to massively
Yes,
repurpose it and produce the interceptors, but
yes,
same impediment with high cost of energy. And whose fault is that, right? They're getting
exactly the
cheap
same dickheads.
natural
They
Yes,
did it
gas
on
from
purpose.
Russia, who screwed that up, right?
Good morning,
they
Myron. I hope
screwed
you
it up.
get
They so
decide to
it's
get
like
some
they
rest. I
fucking
will. I
Blew up
will.
their own
they cut their
pipeline.
noses
I will,
off
Mr.
to
Rubio.
spite
Got
their
you, brother.
face.
I followed you
Which is
back on.
typical. And obviously the rare
I
earth
followed you back on
restrictions
X,
are
by the
gonna
way, bro.
be a huge
Got you,
factor
Ninja.
because of the dysprosium and terbium that's needed for especially the interceptors too, and the yttrium and samarium, which are key for the gyroscopes and for like the smaller components that are critical, especially like the Iron
People
Dome's
don't know inevitable, to your
radars too.
point.
Yeah,
America provides 70%, and Germany, I think, provides the other 25 to 30% to Israel for most of their munitions and stuff.
pretty
It's the
much. Yeah,
question when
and yeah.
Israel, when Iran goes back to striking Israel again, and not how they're going to do it. They know how to do it, and how hard they're going to go this time. Be amnesia time without Jordan, though. All right, let's do a few more hands, and then Colix is late. Let's go to Black Dog and ESC. Go ahead, Black Dog. Black Dog, you want to go? Once.
AKA
Or twice?
Gentile.
Yeah, Gentile. Or no? Okay. Makes sense. I'm going to go to Andy. Go ahead, makes sense.
Yeah, just two questions, Truth. Myron, do you think, because you sort of put us on, like the whole thing about the, I was going to say Yehudis, but the Israelis, like having this doctrine where they do, like, no matter what, the Samson doctrine, I believe you called it one time during the stream.
The Samson option.
The Samson option, yeah, that was insane. That was a rabbit hole, man. But the fact that they have that, do you feel like, there's really like nothing that anyone can do and they're just gonna have their way?
So here's the thing. I think Israel uses the nuclear bomb because the last time they really emotioned, I think, was back in 73 during the Yom Kippur War when Golda Meir was getting pretty desperate that they knew that they potentially might lose, and she basically threatened to use a nuke, and that's what Nixon kind of sent in the air thing. Oh, which, by the way, guys, fun fact, Henry Kissinger is hella fucking based. He said that if he wasn't Jewish, he'd probably be anti-Semitic himself. And he said that any group of people that have been
wait. He's not based, bro. No, Henry Kissinger was fired by President Trump.
Dude,
Yeah,
he doesn't. Shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah,
shut the
dude.
fuck up.
Thank you, China. I appreciate that, bro.
Hey, you're a Fed. You're a Fed, Myron.
Yo,
I
are
love
you
but
fucking
you're a Fed.
retarded? Hey, go fuck yourself, dude.
Yes. You're retarded.
Okay, Ryan, just hold on one second, dude. I'll give you a chance to drool all over yourself in a conversation. But the reason why I'm saying Henry Kissinger was based is because he said fucking crazy shit, and hilarious shit, like any group of people that have been persecuted for 2,000 years that probably have done something wrong. And the reason why it makes him based is because he's actually Jewish himself. So what's your rebuttal to that, retard?
My rebuttal is in December 2020, President Trump.
My rebuttal is I fucking stuff Q-tips up my nose.
President Trump fired him
Fuck
and replaced
yourself.
him with
Anyway,
Mike Pillsbury. Okay, Mike Pillsbury replaced
Myron,
him.
the second question, sir.
Okay,
You're
so
wearing
Myron, are you still a Fed?
okay. So number one,
this is so low IQ.
yeah, this is
Sorry, you guys are all retarded. I'm gonna
Myron, sign my
I'm
forehead,
coming to
Myron.
find you, Myron. You Fed.
Myron,
Hey, Ryan, just so you know, bro, I was the one that actually brought you up here so that you can go ahead and, spout your retarded rhetoric. But yeah, I've served this country, proudly so. You're a fucking idiot. And quite frankly, you're an idiot. There's not even really much I can say. So, yeah. Bro just decreased the IQ of the space by, I swear to God, 30 points, dude.
Makes sense. I
That
think
is facts.
We're over here having fucking complex geopolitical analysis, right, at a fucking deeper level than you'll see on fucking CNN or any other news station. What does this fucking mouth breather do? Comes in and derails and says, "You're a Fed." The fuck out of here, idiot.
But Myron,
but to your question makes sense. They want us to think that
TikTok
everything's inevitable.
That lack of emotional balance and just being able to hold a conversation for longer than 1, 5, 10 minutes, man.
Yeah, he just wanted his moment, dude. He's a fucking idiot. But Truth, who did you want to go to next? You wanted to go to Black Doug, I think, or?
Yeah, I'm back now.
You're back. Okay,
all right, if I could just.
What's
yeah,
up, Black Doug?
I wanted to say, yeah, look, the analysis that Myron gave is pretty interesting on the DSA thing, but I will just say that I wouldn't be too hopeful. I mean, I may agree with what this Chevalier woman said about Israel, but if you look at most of these DSA types, even within the DSA, the number one reason people actually leave the DSA is because they say it's actually too Zionist. It's covertly, completely Zionist. So you'll have people like Mamdani, for example. He's sort of like another fishback. You have Mamdani come out and he'll be like, yeah, I don't think Israel has equal rights, which anyone can agree with. Israel's like the most fucking Jewish supremacist, racist country in the world to, Palestinians or any other type of non-Jew. But then you'll see Mamdani also, he'll be a turbo Zionist. I mean, we already have all the information up there in the nest.
Grave, taking pictures.
Rebbe Schneerson's grave. He's chill with Brad Lander. He endorsed Brad Lander. Alex Soros. He's received endorsements from all kinds of Zionists too, like William Crystal, the Iraq War architect. So he's a total Zionist, Mamdani. He was there at the Brazil-Morocco game, sat next to fucking Kathy Hochul, who's like the biggest, she makes Trump look like Nasrallah. Okay?
But she's the governor, though. I would give him a pass on that.
He was there at the Brazil-Morocco game, sat next to her, the group stage game with Brazil and Morocco. So she's Jewish, right? Or I think she's.
I don't know if
she might be a Shabbos goy, but he's a total Zionist, and so you're starting to see, right? They understood that, look, these AOCs and Bernie Sanders, they're too openly Zionist. So you need to get a Mamdani, and even on the so-called right, because I don't believe in left and right, but even on the so-called right, you'll have like a James Fishback who used to fucking work for Barry Weiss. So whether it's Mamdani, Fishback, whoever it is, Matt Gaetz. Yeah, exactly. Like whoever it is, Matt Gaetz was right when he went on Tucker Carlson, and Matt Gaetz is another controlled op, but he was right when he went on Tucker Carlson, and he said that what they're going to do in 2028 is they're going to take some guy that seems like so overtly anti-Israel or anti-Zionist, because everyone rightly opposes Zionism because it's the most disgusting thing in the world. But then they'll take another guy and they'll say, this guy's also overtly anti-Zionist. Look, we defeated Zionism in America. We defeated the Jewish occupation of America. And in reality, it'll just be, two Zionists or two Shabbos goys. going head to head. That's their plan. Their plan is basically to completely shield it now. Why do you think you have Rahm Emanuel, right? The biggest fucking Zionist of all time, the son of the guy that literally helped Menachem Begin blow up the King David Hotel and murder Englishmen and Palestinians.
Super
I think
kike.
you have Rahm Emanuel literally going to visit.
What kind of mic is this?
You're a fucking kike, bitch. Don't interrupt
Wait,
people.
wait, 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 wait,
Fucking,
wait, wait,
no,
wait,
know
wait,
your
wait,
fucking
wait,
place. This is,
wait, wait,
you can't just talk over the goyim here.
brother.
Why are you interrupting? Why is
Hold on, guys. Hold on. Doug, your mic is cutting in and out, bro, and it's a little hard to pick you up. So if you can like kind of reset it maybe or refresh.
Yeah, I'll try.
Yeah, no,
Myron. Hearing it
it
from
is
you
true.
is
Yeah, no, it is true though. She was right. You should. Hey, come on. Just because it's a Jew doesn't mean it's not true. Although most of the time it's not. Typically, like
You're saying
99%.
Rahm Emanuel went to go.
all right, well, what about now? Is it all right now?
Now it's much better.
I picked
I
up
was
what you
just gonna
last
say,
said.
look, why do you think you got Rahm Emanuel, right? Brother of Ari Emanuel, the son of the terrorist that helped Menachem Begin blow up the King David Hotel and kill Englishmen and Palestinian Gentiles. Why do you think you have Rahm Emanuel going to visit occupied Palestine recently and saying that he wants to cut off all, like, he wants to put sanctions and freeze assets tied to the Likud government and everything? Because what they're doing now is they've understood, the smart Zionists, they've completely understood that it's just terrible PR in any industry, political or otherwise. And so they're cutting off Israel overtly, while covertly they're going to continue supporting Israel. They might even oppose the genocide in Gaza because it makes Jews look bad. It's terrible PR for Jews because the freedom fighters from the Qassam brigades, they started the Great Noticing. So
So what is your and no, I totally see where you're coming from.
Called the whole thing out.
So Doug,
He is completely correct.
What's your like what was like the bottom line? Are you basically saying like there's no left, there's no right? You're saying that the Democrats also.
I'm saying even these DSA types, they're still going to continue doing what you described as sucking Zionist Jewish dick behind the.
They're telling us what we want to hear.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, I agree.
They're going to continue sucking Zion. Like Myron, you said I'm kind of pushing back on what you said, Myron, when you said that like these DSA types, the idea of them sucking Zionist dick behind the counter is going to be over with. I don't think that's the case. I think they're going to be sucking even more Zionist dick and just keep it completely covert, like you said, the Democrats and Republicans have always done.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: they won't be able to. And again, that's why I'm saying like they. The reason why I'm saying they can't do it forever is because the thing is with progressives, right? I'll give progressives one thing: they fight for what they believe. They do a lot of research. They mobilize, etc. Hell, it was a bunch of progressives that found out that AIPAC was using like all these fucking shell lobbies to still fund politicians. So when I say, that time isn't going to last much longer, I'm saying that because their base is going to hunt down them, whatever they're doing. I mean, hell, dude, what's that fucking gay senator's name? Or sorry, representative out of California. I forget his name. He's a Jewish guy.
He's a total Zionist, Myron.
No,
Zionist.
but hold on, dude.
Dude,
I agree with you. But what I'm trying to explain with you, I'm using him as an example. Even a guy that is as far left as it can go when it comes to social issues, like supporting gay rights and everything, they still went and called him a piece of shit for not being pro-Palestine. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like progressives,
what I'm saying, Myron,
progressives don't have the same.
That's exactly my point, Myron.
That's
is that because
right, dude, let me just finish. What I'm telling you is progressives are far more likely to completely ostracize and kick out a candidate if they don't agree with 100% of what they want. They're not nuanced like Republicans and conservatives. Like with the left, it's like, we don't accept any other ideology besides our own. We want healthcare. We want socialism. We want free stuff, blah, blah, blah. So what I'm saying is that when it comes to being a Democrat, when it comes to running in the Democrat Party, you have way less of a line to toe because your constituents are, number one, very politically aware. Number two, will mobilize. And then number three, will absolutely fucking demolish you and use that influence to fuck up your political career. That's all I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying the Democrat Party and their constituents are far sharper than Republicans in that regard.
Look, I just think that I don't think the Republicans or MAGA-tards are nuanced. I think they're just as fucking stupid, if not more, than the Democrats. They're total Shabbos goy cucks. Everything these boomer Republican Fox News retards say has no nuance to it whatsoever.
But
just
that's
like
the difference
That's
between
what he's
them.
saying.
But that's what what I'm saying is like they're both retarded, but the leftists will be out in fucking -5-degree weather to
The
protest.
liberals will get out on the streets.
Yes.
Yeah, but
thank
do you not
and
think,
utilize
though,
violence
that
too.
kind of proves my point, Myron? Because if you really think about it, because on the left or the right or really just anywhere in America, because Israel is so unpopular and people are seeing the genocide they're committing
why
and
don't we just
everything.
look at it this way? Don't worry about so much what they say. Look at how they vote. Once they stop voting for foreign aid packages to Israel, presuming that, let's say the army and IDF don't get merged, then there's something there.
And
But
that's why I
as long
brought
as
up
they keep
that's why I
voting
brought up
in favor of
Ro Khanna.
Israel, it won't matter.
That's why I brought up Ro Khanna, because like Ro Khanna jumping on with Massie saying we don't want to give them defensive or offensive support is a huge fucking step. Again, I'm not saying that this is gonna, not be quick or not happen. What I'm saying, what I'm saying
you guys
is
are agreeing,
they
Myron. You're saying
cannot.
the constituents are different. The left cares more and will get in the streets, like you said. And the
Thank
Jews
you.
They actually
pivoted.
get shit
Thank
done.
you.
Yeah, they get shit
Yes.
done.
The Jews
Thank you.
pivoted. They said, "Oh shit, these leftists don't like us. Fuck, we got to pivot to the right wing."
Thank
Dude, the
you.
right-wigs collect guns and don't use them, and they like stay inside and tweet, and that's like all they do. They don't actually
think about. You know what? Let's talk about this because I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk about guys like fucking Bill Ackman, right? These guys that were super fucking leftist before, and they realized that when it comes to being a progressive, you have to agree with these motherfuckers on everything, and if you don't, they say fuck you. So that's why so many of them came over to the right wing. And there's a bunch. Bill Ackman, who was the fucking lawyer for Epstein again? I forget his name. Dershowitz left the Democrat Party. Who's the other fucking tech bro? I forget their fucking names. But
Alex Karp, Peter Thiel,
Alex Karp, Peter Thiel. There was one other fucking guy.
Joe Lonsdale,
Jacob Hellberg.
Larry Ellison.
Larry Ellison.
No.
Dario
They were
Amodei.
all Democrats.
Myron,
But either way, that proves my point. That actually helps. You guys named all these people. Like that's a great way to describe
Bill
it.
Ackman had fucking college kids.
Silicon Valley traditionally was usually pro-Democrat. Now they're all behind Trump. So
exactly. Bill Ackman had college kids' names on a fucking billboard that was going around New York City, like on a fucking moving truck that were supporting
doxing anti-genocide protesters.
Blackballed them all, ostracized them all, so they couldn't get jobs at businesses. Dershowitz did the same for the law students who graduated from Harvard. Yeah, that's well known. All right, we'll do two more hands.
Here's the thing, if I may. The thing is that there are also a lot of Marxist, Bolshevik Jews that are still to the left, but are going to be covertly supporting Israel, just like Myron said. But they're also going to be China-backed and very progressive, like Project Constitution.
Oh, oy vey, it's the Chi-Coms.
Let's
Focus on the
go.
Chi-Coms, Goyim, oy vey.
It doesn't matter. Funded by other entities. It doesn't.
No, it matters because you're a fucking Jew telling us to focus on the Chinese question.
Okay,
That's why you sound like Alex Jones.
China doesn't interfere in U.S. elections.
Oy vey, it's the Chinese, goy. It's the Chi-Coms, goy. Oy vey, don't focus on the Jews.
Okay, don't focus on the whole idea I was trying to convey here, but you're too retarded for that. Okay.
Yeah, China's not backing any politicians.
Okay, let's say Russia. I don't know.
It's
Backed
not
by
Russia
something
either.
else.
You already know
But guys,
It
if I can
doesn't
say
matter.
this, what Myron said.
It's by the other side of the
Oh my
Jews.
God! You guys just can't. Okay, say they're controlled by Israel if that makes you happy. Okay, I'm talking about the progressives
There's
here.
over 100 pro-Israel Jewish lobbies out there, like of course APAC,
Okay,
J
Z
Street,
Cohen.
ADL, UDP. They all control all the politicians out there.
The lady that Myron called a fat fucking Jew.
That's my point.
The lady that Myron called a fat fucking Jew. That chick, Z Cohen. She's with Blue.
Okay,
That's
so
progressive.
you
Yes,
named,
she's a Jew, but she's progressive.
Great. And
Okay.
sucks.
This
Israel
is how.
did
Wait. Just let me
covertly.
say this real quick. This is how dumb Josie is. She doesn't even realize that Israel was created by these progressive. Israel, just real quick. Israel was literally created.
Like shit.
Israel was created. Israel was created by these progressive Trotskyite socialist genocidal kikes, the kibbutznik
Oh,
Jews.
you're broke. Shut up, Tyrone.
all right, that's fine. Let's Andy, go ahead. Andy.
Yeah, there was an alert I put in the jump while you took it down.
Caitlin Clark time.
Iran hit Kuwait oil. So Iran hit Kuwait oil. So Iran keeps taking out infrastructure finally. I mean,
And
yeah,
they said they're now on a path to want to take out all of the infrastructure within the region unless attacks stop. So they've already started. They've already fulfilled the first
phase.
yeah, exactly.
By the way, the Trotskyites, a lot of them became the
Can I
fucking.
finish? Can I
Oh,
finish?
I'm so sorry. I apologize. I apologize.
Exactly. They warned. Iran warned Trump that if you hit our bridges, our water, our electricity, we're gonna go after the Gulf infrastructure, and they've started. So next, it might be
gas.
it might be. Yeah, it might be UAE, and it might be UAE next. It might be Saudi Arabia. It might be Qatar, and then maybe we'll see the other oil refinery in
Andy,
Haifa
you
hit.
just might see $8 a gallon, like you predicted. Who knows?
Exactly, and then Americans will get out on the streets, and something will happen.
No, they will. Well, the left wing will. The left will.
If a bunch of fat right wingers who can't afford to get their McDonald's delivered to them because the Uber industry goes out of business, that will change.
Well, they'll listen to President Trump like they were
inevitable.
listening to them now about the China shit, the Red Scare
It's
2.
already kind of been
the
there.
Red Scare 2, which is as Jewish as the first one, by the way. Go ahead.
The only thing that gets right wingers moving is
imagine
dead
if they take out
Americans,
that. Imagine if they take out that other oil refinery in Haifa, and then Israel goes from 1 to 0 oil refineries. Then Israel is just absolutely fucked at that point. I would love to fucking see that. I mean,
all right. So I brought some support up for Josie. Bill Smith. The Jew haters hate themselves. What do you have to say, Bill Smith?
Bill Smith?
Let's go, Slick Billy.
Bill Smith.
I have to say, you guys are just whining and complaining about Jews in Israel.
Oh, it's Mossad Mike. There
because
he is.
There he is.
He came with a different account. Why didn't you pick a Goy name? Why didn't you pick a Jew name?
But truth, if I could say this,
you guys, you can't compete. That's your problem. You just whine and
don't
cry
you guys,
every day.
we don't want to compete at genocide, you fuck.
You can't compete. That's your problem.
Let Bill speak.
You're right. The Goy can't compete with all the porn sites you guys.
Yeah, I agree with
that.
Let him see. What
number one,
the
more
you
complain,
the
more pathetic you sound.
Human trafficking, organ harvesting, and genocide. You're number one. Can't compete. You're right.
Yo, Bill, real quick, man. Bill, I'm gonna give you the floor, bro. Give us your grievances, man. Please, guys, don't interrupt him. I see that he came up here. Let's give him a chance to actually speak and not be interrupted. Go ahead, Bill. Give us your grievance.
Tell us why the Jews are discriminated against.
Double mute.
It was a double mute, yeah.
Mute.
But let us know what your grievance is, bro. I'm sure you have one since you came up here. But you got a double mute.
I don't have any grievances. You have a right to say stupid things about Jews in Israel every day, 24/7.
Okay, what is stupid then?
Damn right we do.
What is?
I don't have a grievance. You're just stupid. What stupid means a grievance?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. What is stupid?
You constantly sound like victims. You're complaining about Jews in Israel to the point where you're obsessed. It's a neurosis.
Who's asking for anti-Semitism laws?
Because you can't compete with us.
What for? Why do you have the ADL?
Why do you have the ADL?
Why do you guys dox people?
Who's
the one playing victim?
You cannot compete with Jews or
Zionists in Britain. What does that even have to do?
You cannot compete. That's your problem. So you complain.
Yeah, you can't compete with genocide, usury, cut polishing diamonds from Africa that you steal.
I don't spend my time complaining. I can compete better and succeed. You can't.
Bill, let me just real quick, because okay, look, I understand your argument. You're saying everyone is jealous of the Jews and they can't compete. I would argue that most of the people here, more than likely, it's not because Israelis are successful or Jews are successful in America. I think the issue is that they use that success and influence to kill children. I think that's the main reason why people have grievances. So what's your response to that?
My response is Hamas kills children.
Okay. All right.
Oh my God.
Okay.
It's Hamas.
The IDF kills children.
Yeah, you know what, dude? Actually,
you gotta say Hamas.
I'm not gonna lie.
Compete at sodomizing children.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm an idiot for even thinking that he would give some type of real rebuttal. But
you
at this
can't
point,
compete with me either. You make
personal kids.
Okay.
Number one.
That's why you keep muting me, because you can't argue with me.
No, you're getting double muted.
Okay, how about this? All right, let me ask you this then. How is Hamas killing kids, please? Can you explain that to us?
October.
Double mute.
Double mute, bro.
Double mute.
And guys, let's let him talk. By the way, guys, let's let him make his argument, please. Go ahead, bro. Take your time.
It doesn't take much time to talk about October 7th.
Okay, then talk about it.
So no kids have died
said,
since October 7th. It was just that one day when kids died. No
they
kids died after
they
that.
they you know what they did October 7th?
What did they do?
They
What
opened
happened
the
after
Okay, Bill,
October
Bill, Bill, Bill,
7th? Were
Bill,
any
Bill,
kids
let me,
killed
let me
after
speak.
that?
Yo, Bill, let me speak, yo. You don't think
he is a
October 7th was
rabid.
was an inside fucking job for Israeli government? Do you think that?
That's not even a question for him. What did they do? You're saying we all know, but what did they do? If you can you explain it?
Can I explain the death of young teenagers and
40
babies?
beheaded babies, go. 40 beheaded
Oh, I'm
babies.
You
glad
mean
you
those?
at
Hold
least
on.
you
You mean
admit
those
it.
teenagers that were partying at a rave, whereby you had what Apache helicopters dropping
Myron,
Hellfire
did they
missiles on
kill
them,
innocent women and
admitting they
children that
couldn't
day? Yes or
distinguish
no?
between Palestinians and also the ravers?
I'm
Because that's
talking
what
to
they
Myron.
said.
Okay,
You're
he's
a little bit more
asking.
sane than you are, truth teller.
Sure, Bill. What? I'd be happy
Did
to
they or
engage.
didn't they? Yes or no?
Say that again.
Did Hamas kill innocent women and children on October 7th? Yes
No,
or
the
no?
Jews did that. The Jews killed their own people there.
I'm asking Myron, not you.
Sure.
Blew
You're a
up a
neurotic.
kibbutz as
Yo,
well.
Myron,
Okay.
stop fucking dropping me, bro. For real.
Okay. Yeah. Number one, you can shut the fuck up, buddy. Your IQ no longer qualifies to be on the panel. Anyway.
My IQ's
Okay. Anyway, enjoy the shadow room, faggot. Okay. Bill, to answer your question. So you said, did Hamas kill innocent people on October 7th? Is that your question?
He said innocent children, I think.
Women, children, innocent people. Call them whatever you want. Yes.
I'll say innocent people. I know because, and the reason why I say that is because there was only one baby killed on that day. I think her name was Mila Cohen, and she was hit by a stray bullet. We don't know where that bullet came from. But to be very broad here and charitable, yes, they killed innocent people on that day.
Okay, so it's unfortunate. It's
Okay.
tragic.
Well,
And
fair.
Now, I would, to be fair to you.
Okay.
To be fair to the panel, to try to be a little bit rational, you could make an argument, and I would have this be a longer discussion, and you probably want to close down soon anyways. The real question is Israel's response unproportional? And I would concede that there are arguments to be made that it is, just to be fair.
Well, you know what? I can respect that, Bill. Bill, honestly, look. I'm actually gonna be charitable and say I appreciate that you even acknowledge that because most Israelis won't even acknowledge the ridiculous amounts of disproportionate retaliation.
True.
So I give you credit for that, and I think that's why the world is kind of mad at Israel because they're looking at it like, look, roughly 800 civilians died on October 7th because we know about 400 were IDF. And people are pissed off that the 800 that died on that day in Israel. They don't feel as though that justifies the killing of 20,000 plus children. I think that's the issue.
And it's understandable. Now, let me just point out that, and I wanted
Why
to
did the
ask
Jews kill so many kids, Bill?
I just wanted to ask Myron a question. Just give me.
Why did the Jews kill so many kids?
Will you
Bill?
please
Why
give
answer
me
the
a
question?
minute?
I can. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, Bill.
So this is what I wanted to ask you, rationally speaking.
Yeah.
So the dilemma, though, and I think you'll agree because it's been proven that there's between 400 to 500 kilometers of underground military-ready tunnels, right, to kill or attack Israel. We know this is a fact. Okay, they're deep. They're well prepared. They're military
Yeah, but Israel
grade.
controls over 50% of Gaza now.
Let me
Why haven't you
finish.
gone to the tunnels, Bill?
Let me finish, please. Okay, that the existence of that weaponization underground. Okay, what is a small country like that, supposed to do about that?
Well,
Well,
I'm
they should
okay.
be creating a concentration camp out of Gaza in the first place.
Truth tell, you're embarrassing yourself.
All right, so Bill, and I'm assuming you're saying this pre-October 7th, or are you saying post-October 7th that they had these tunnels?
Well, it was clearly pre.
Okay.
And now it's been discovered, and they've got a real problem.
By who?
there.
Show
All
me
right.
the proof, Bill. I've never seen it.
So you have an issue with the tunnels being utilized to attack Israel. Fair?
Yeah, and I think you'll agree that this is classic terrorist activity. They use human shields. We know this for a fact.
Okay.
Do you know that they have a right under Article 51 of the UN Charter to oppose an occupying force?
I was going to say that. Thank you, Keith. I was literally going to just say that.
They don't have a right to have tunnels under Israel.
They have a right
and
to
under
self-defense.
I didn't
because
say
you're
tunnels. I
blocking-
said self.
Hold
Yeah,
on,
there you
you're
go.
But that's
blocking
what
all of
I
their
asked. The
borders.
question I asked. That's the question I asked. So what do you do?
Well, I think Myron.
Yeah, that's a form of self-defense,
You get off their
retard. Come
land.
on.
Yeah,
So,
it's
Bill,
illegally occupied land. Get off their land.
I do think it's a little unfair to begin this conversation on October 7th. I do think it's a bit more fair to understand why the tunnels were there in the first place. And back with what Keith is saying, technically, according to international law, Palestinians are considered an occupied people. As an occupied people, they have a right to resist and obviously engage in combat to some degree. And let's be honest here. If we're going to use the term terrorism, which you used before, the definition of terrorism is committing acts of violence for political ideology. If you're going to call Hamas terrorists, I would argue that the IDF also fits that definition verbatim.
Okay, and we'll I'll concede. We'll just have to agree to disagree. Let me ask you
Fair.
another
Also,
Okay.
question.
no, the British also said
No,
that
you
the
conceded.
Jewish games committed the first terrorist acts in occupied Palestine.
Okay, well, look,
Ergon, Haganah, Stern, Leahy were all Jewish terrorist gangs that, for
we're
instance,
never
at King
going
David
to
Hotel,
unwind.
bombing and killed 91 people, Bill. So do you concede the Jews are, in fact, the original OG terrorists of occupied Palestine,
Let
as
me
labeled
ask,
both by the British and Israel, in fact, labeled Ergon a terrorist entity? What do you say about that, Bill?
I say that both sides have blood on their hands.
Don't say, oh, but oh, so you count, you then acknowledge that Jews are terrorists and they're the ones who
No,
killed
What's your last
What I
Palestine through terror.
acknowledge is
question?
To be
that every.
fair, to be
you let me
fair,
finish.
he did agree that they would fit under that definition as well. To be fair, he did.
So, Myron, let me ask you a question. You
Yeah, but
probably
Hamas
heard.
is a resistance group.
Okay, you probably heard Bill Clinton. And the video is out. He did another
I
one.
mean, Bill Clinton, the guy that Epstein was blackmailing?
Stop for a
Wait,
second. Just let me.
didn't, didn't
True,
Benjamin
true.
Netanyahu acknowledge that he
Let
had
me.
the Monica Lewinsky sex tapes they were using
I
against Bill
know.
Clinton to release
If someone had
Jonathan
lunch with
Pollard?
Epstein, they're a
Wasn't
pedophile,
it also
according to. I
Epstein that
understand.
blackmailed? Hold on, Epstein blackmailed both Bill Clinton and Ehud Barak so there wouldn't be a two-state solution.
You
That's right.
see
The
Epstein in
Jewish
the matzo
child
ball soup,
trafficking
teller.
rape gang were blackmailing U.S. President Bill. What do you have to say about that?
What I have to say is I have another question for Myron.
Yeah.
Don't
Let
don't
me,
See the
guys.
Bill
speak to it.
Clinton is
Guys,
a blackmailed agent.
give me like a few minutes just to kind of go back and forth with Bill. I think we're having some constructive criticism, and then for
So
sure I
let me
know
say,
truth.
let me ask
Go
you,
ahead.
Myron, and
Go ahead.
you could look this up. Don't take my word for it.
Sure.
I mean, why would you?
You're
He's
a
on
Jew. No one
record.
takes your word for anything.
Okay, I think we know that. He's on record as saying that they offered. This is back in the 90s. They offered Arafat everything, and his conclusion was they
That's not
just want to.
true. They didn't say everything. That's a
Let me
lie.
finish. Substantially, 96% of what they wanted,
So not
and
100%. So not everything. So you just
okay,
lied right there.
you
So you
got me.
lied. Let's
I
acknowledge you lied,
lied.
right, Bill? You
Okay,
lied.
I
Thank
lied.
you.
I plead guilty. So Myron, Bill Clinton said they would essentially offer them 96% of what they wanted, and Arafat said no. And President Clinton's conclusion was they just want to kill Jews, and that's the problem. And
Who
I
Okay.
don't
killed?
think that's
Hold on. Who
deniable.
killed Yitzhak Rabin, Bill?
I'm
Because
asking
Arafat
Myron a
signed off.
question about Bill.
Arafat signed off on a two-state solution. Who killed
I'm
Yitzhak Rabin?
asking Myron's
Wasn't it a
question about.
Jewish terrorist, Yigal Amir, who did that? Oh yeah, a
So,
Jew killed another Jew, right, Bill? And that's what
um,
derailed the two-state solution.
That was Clinton's perception
Was
of
it
his
Clinton's fault that
experience
Yitzhak Rabin got
of what
assassinated?
happened. Th-
Was it Clinton's fault that Yitzhak Rabin got assassinated?
I'm asking Myron a question, not
yeah.
you.
Answer the question, Bill.
Well, he's the host.
Let me engage with it real quick, guys. Just give me a few minutes, man. I promise I won't be long. Okay. Would it be fair for me to ask that are you referring to the Oslo Accords?
Yeah, and we left Gaza in 2005.
Okay. So I would argue if we're going to use the Oslo Accords of 93,
Oh, and one last thing, I apologize.
go ahead.
Why are you
One,
adding all this additional information?
one last thing. It's in the Hamas charter. It's in the charter. They are dedicated to killing Jews and getting rid
It
of
doesn't
Israel.
say that anywhere in the Hamas
That's a
Charter. You
fact.
just made that up.
Yes, it does.
Between the Jordan River,
Yes,
hold
it
on.
does.
Between the
Sorry,
Jordan, hold
Myron.
on a
Go
sec.
ahead.
It's in
Yeah.
the Likud Charter that there will be no Palestinian state.
Yeah.
There's also a greater Israel map that Netanyahu
So
presented.
let me address
Where's
the charter
Palestinian
real
state?
quick. So the charter you're referring to is a dated charter that no longer exists. The charter has been updated to specify Zionists, not necessarily people of Jewish faith. So that's one of the updates. I think it's the 2018.
But it's still there in a certain form.
Yes. Well, it addresses
Where? Can you show the
it
form?
targets
Bill, show
Zionism
me that statement where it says
versus
to kill all
versus
Jews. Please
Jews.
show me that
It's-
statement,
I
Bill.
he
Otherwise,
is
you just lied.
I
No,
appreciate that, Myron.
No, it is the truth. It is he's not lying, but it was it's the older Hamas charter, but that it's since been updated, I think, as of 2018 or so. That's number one. Number two, we'll address the Oslo Accords real quick. With the Oslo Accords, I know you're saying, hey, they offered Yasser Arafat 96%, blah, blah, blah. The problem here is that the Oslo Accords were kind of built as a framework, which were never actually adhered to because Yitzhak Rabin was assassinated by a far-right Likud party member, because that would have been the framework towards the two-state solution. And Benjamin Netanyahu has been caught many times admitting that he wanted to sabotage the Oslo Accords and did everything in his power to sabotage it. So I see what you're saying where you're like, hey, we had the deal, we had the offer, etc. But the Israelis never actually intended in negotiating good faith. And I'll add one more piece to this. When the Oslo Accords were signed, the Israelis continued to expand the West Bank and increase the settlement number, contrary to what was agreed upon within the Oslo Accords, doing this because the Israelis operate on, hey, facts on the ground. And they kind of would extend, build a settlement, so when they do come back to reconvene, oh, sorry, facts on the ground have changed, and it allows them to almost like sneak a little bit more leverage, a little bit more leverage, a little bit more leverage. I would argue that the Oslo Accords is nothing more than a time gain for the Israelis to take more land, to create the, irrefutable land grab that they had where it would be impossible to actually create some type of side-by-side state. So I don't think the Oslo Accords, well, hold on, I'll say one more thing. I think the Oslo Accords originally were put in good faith. However, after Yitzhak Rabin died, it was not adhered to.
Myron, he didn't die. He was murdered by a Jewish terrorist who's
I
still
said
in
that.
jail, Yigal Amir.
I said
So
that,
it's
yeah.
Jewish
A Likud
terrorism
party
that
killed him, guy killed him. I did say that.
Correct. It was a Jew that killed Yitzhak Rabin. It was Jew-on-Jew terrorism.
Didn't
Bill. By the
Netanyahu hire
way,
the guy or something?
just for yeah, and it was Netanyahu that's behind this. And this, I put up a part of the Likud charter where it says between the sea and the Jordan there will be only Israeli sovereignty, indicating no Palestinian state, and that's exactly what Greater Israel Project is about. So in fact, the Likud charter under the current Jews in charge who want no Palestinian state, and that charter is over 30 years old, Bill. So it's the Likud that's guilty of wanting to kill all Palestinians because you're mass murdering thugs. Thank you.
And Bill, I'll land with this last one here because you mentioned the Oslo Accords. To be fair, I don't think the Israelis have ever negotiated in good faith since the beginning. And what I'm going to refer to is the 1937 Peel Commission. The Peel Commission basically was a way for, Ben Gurion to kind of, and he wrote this in his letter, by the way, he admitted this to his father, that, look, we're doing this, we're doing a Peel Commission to kind of create the illusion that we're legitimate, but we don't actually intend to fulfill this Peel Commission. We're just using this to legitimize the state of Israel, and we will eventually take more and more territory. And what have we seen through history? They have stuck to that, and they have used treaties and agreements simply to buy more time and, destroy properties, take property with their military force so that when they do reconvene, oh, sorry, bro, facts on the ground have changed. So I would argue the Israelis never negotiated in good faith since the 1937 Peel Commission that Ben Gurion signed.
Okay, so my response would be at least you argue with civility, and I appreciate that. And
Do you acknowledge the Likud charter where it says between Jordan and the river there will only be Israeli sovereignty, Bill? Do you acknowledge the Likudniks don't want a Palestinian state?
You're not a prosecutor. I'm
It's in the
talking to
charter, Bill.
Myron, and you're
Bill,
not
are you
letting
going
me
to acknowledge the
respond.
Likud charter? It's a yes or no question. Are you
You're
going to
not
answer, Bill?
letting you're not
Bill,
letting me
answer the question,
respond.
sir. Sir, answer the question. Since you claim you just
I'm
cited this Hamas
answering
charter, why
Myron's
don't you cite the
questions.
Likud charter, which is genocidal? Do you
I'm
acknowledge genocidal
responding.
intent within the Likud charter?
I'm
Why aren't
responding
you
to
answering?
Myron.
Go ahead and
He'll
answer
let you
yes or no.
respond if you just
Hey,
answer.
asshole, it's my fucking space. You're gonna answer me, or I'll fucking drop you right now into the masturbation chamber. So what's it gonna be? Yes or no? Go. Does the Likud charter genocidal in not acknowledging a Palestinian
We were
state?
double muted.
That's fine. Are you gonna answer the question, Bill?
Before I answer the question, why do you make things so personal? Why are you so weak like that?
Okay, you got 5 seconds to answer, and I'm just gonna drop you like
I
a
call
bad
it
habit
passion.
because you're a Jew fuck Zionist piece of shit that I don't respect. That's why.
So you
Because
lost the
you're
argument.
dancing Israeli to me. You're
You're
dancing Israeli
triggered
to me.
and you lost the argument.
Okay, what? You haven't answered the question. You're dodging it like the Matrix over here. Answer the
And you
question.
keep muting me
Is there
because
genocidal intent within the
you're
Likud charter that says between Jordan and the river there will only be Israeli sovereignty? Yes or no? Your
Might be double muted.
silence indicates
it's
compliance, which
impossible to
means you
answer
indicate
questions
yes.
when you
Thank
keep
you.
muting me.
Thank you. So you won't answer. That's it. We're done. Ah, it's very nice.
Of
Oh, and
course,
by the way, Jackass, hey, don't use alt accounts because then you won't get up anymore, right? But yeah, I do want to wrap the space. It is late. So it's very late for me and it's early for Myron, I suppose. I want to thank Myron,
Why are you such a
Joanne.
Jew hater, Truth?
I know, I got to get over it. It's like a disease, you know? It's kosher mafia, it gets to you. But yeah, I want to thank Myron, Joanne, for helping the co-host, speakers of the
No worries.
contributions. Let's check in tomorrow and see how things unfold. Iran's currently attacking Jordan, Kuwait, and yeah, they're just hitting another oil facility. Expect higher gas prices. The Americans listening, load up on gas and food because prices are going to go up, and Trump doesn't really care about the average American's well-being.
When's the next health space?
Sunday. But yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah, subscribe if you can for the next health space, and feel free to super chat. Feel free to drop a tip in the tip jar on your way out. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate
Good conversation. Great conversation.
Yeah, well, thanks, especially with Myron got in the conversation there.
Thanks,
Nothing
guys.
personal to the guys I couldn't bring up. It's just late and I'm tired. Appreciate you guys. All the best. And God bless.
All right. Later, guys. All right, that was hilarious. What time is it? 7 o'clock. We've been cooking for holy. All right, what do you guys want to? Let me read some chats. Sam Neill, Jurassic Park guy. Okay. For OSS, which body cam a UFC fighter saying N-word to black policeman. Okay. Cool. For the OSS, yeah, we can cover that. Can you ask about the sentiment between Iranian leadership and the Trump, and if the 100 million bounty on Trump with tons of gold is confirmed? It is confirmed. It is confirmed. What can a bullet do? Jay cannot. Bullet comes out of the chamber. Oh, God. Why do black people drive nice cars but live in shitty houses? They haven't figured out how to steal houses. Okay. Jews bad. WSS, good morning. Appreciate you, bro. Oh, yeah. I remember we watched this on stream already. So let's see what we got here, guys. Let me see if there's any other breaking news going on right now. What do you guys want me to cover? Oh, it says, guys, what do you want to cover? What the hell? Look at this shit. What the fuck is this? DEA. What the fuck? Hey, bro got the DEA chasing him. That's hilarious. This shit just randomly came up on my feed. Okay, we got some breaking news here.
East, the U.S. striking Iran for the 7th straight night, hammering key coastal infrastructure targets.
The Iranians also carrying out attacks on America's Gulf allies as the regime threatens to carry out a full-scale offensive.
Madeline Rivera is live in Washington with the details. Good morning, Maddie.
Hi, good morning. That's right, guys. The U.S. and Iran are accusing each other of now attacking civilian targets. The U.S. has hit roads and bridges around Bandar Abbas, a strategic port city near the Strait of Hormuz. Their aim is to isolate the IRGC from resupplying. CENTCOM touted the destruction of one observation tower in particular, which they say significantly weakens the IRGC's ability to coordinate attacks on ships. The U.S. is denying Iran's claim that it's hitting civilian infrastructure, arguing it's been striking military targets with one goal in mind.
I think what we're in the process of doing is making it impossible for the regime to control the Strait of Hormuz from that same landmass, from the islands, from the littoral area that borders the strait itself, and then further inland where the roads and bridges and railroads are at, their ability to move supplies not only around the country, but into and out of the country.
On the other hand, the U.S. says Iran has been the bad actor, carrying out these attacks on civilian ships and damaging a water desalination plant in Kuwait. Iran is refusing to back down, carrying out retaliatory attacks on U.S. targets in the Gulf region. An advisor to Iran's supreme leader saying if U.S. strikes continue for several more days, we will move into a phase of full-scale offensive operations. But as Iran tries to assert control over the Strait of Hormuz, CENTCOM is refuting the regime's claim that 2 oil tankers were sunk. CENTCOM saying, like most IRGC claims, this is false. Nevertheless, oil prices have spiked as a result of the tit for tat. Iran's current.
We'll see what we're looking at right now. OSS report. All right, 88. Slowly but surely climbing back towards 90.
Currency taking a hit too, though, as it plunges to a record low against the U.S. dollar. Charlie, Lara, and Griff.
Thank you, Maddie.
Thank you, Maddie.
Yep.
Certainly, the economic conditions in Iran are absolutely devastating. It's, I think, over 1.9 million rials to the $1 US. Serious pressure, but certainly no hope whatsoever that the peace deal that they were working on is going to work at this point.
Yeah, but I think people have to also remember these are not reasonable people, right? That we're dealing with in Iran. And I think the president deserves so much credit for what he's actually been able to do. Look, if this was
okay. You're talking about erratic and Trump in the same sentence?
easy, previous presidents would have done it, but this president has taken it on. Obviously, now they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. They're not going to be able to develop.
Hey guys, do you guys want to continue with politics or move on to true crime? Politics? All right. Let me start getting some stuff I got here for y'all then. Got some fire for you ninjas then. Oh, guys, we ratioed Joe Rogan, by the way. This is pretty epic, guys. 3.7K. Absolutely ratio him on here. He says he has Mr. Beast on, and I go, nobody wants to watch this guy again, Joe. He has no personality and is terrified to give any real takes on real issues. That's a big deal, ninjas. That's a big deal. So we keep doing this. Eventually, they're going to want to fucking say, what the hell's the hype about here? This nigga keeps ratioing me. It's fucked up. And we didn't bought any of it. So
develop a nuclear weapon at this point, which is great for the whole world. But you look at where they are right now. Yes, they're economically, in dire straits, but they really are so depleted otherwise. The president always talks about the fact that their military is so depleted. They have no Navy, they have no Air Force. They have strategically taken out their missile production sites, their missile sites. All of it has lent itself to a place where I think the U.S. is in the best position to see something positive happen here. It was never going to be easy. It was never going to be clean. But, then they put out statements like, oh, we're going to go on the offensive with what?
Mhm.
It's kind of, you expect it to be a lot of lies from these
No, that's
people.
exactly right, Laura. I mean, remember Baghdad Bob during the early days of the Iraq War saying, we've got him right where we want him. And of course, that was all propaganda. Yeah. That's what you're seeing out of the IRGC. And the head of the IRGC, Ahmad Vahidi, who was originally the first commander of the Quds Force, going all the way back to the previous Ayatollah's regime, that now you are seeing the fact that when we had...
And as you guys know, our guy Suleiman got an interview with Iran's foreign minister, bro. This is a big deal, by the way. I'm actually kind of hyped to watch this one, guys. This is a pretty fucking big deal that Suleiman landed an interview with him, and he's gonna kind of finally be able to ask some of the questions that we've been fucking wondering. So yeah, let me read some of these chats. Shit, did y'all cover? I probably missed the stream. No worries, bro. Pablito says, what are your thoughts on finance YouTubers saying that having rentals isn't worth it anymore? Graham Stephan, Caleb Hammer explain how stocks have better wire and less headaches, but I've said that they sold or are close to getting rid of all their rentals. Retarded. See, the thing is, bro, like, for them, they're making a lot of money, so they could just afford to like dump money into like stocks and shit like that because their income is so high it doesn't matter. But they don't need real estate income. They'd rather like build their wealth because their actual income is already high, But for anybody that's like trying to transition out and doesn't want to be working forever and being a YouTuber forever, like you're gonna want to fucking invest in real estate, bro. What it's other finance? Yeah. But yeah, also the thing with finance YouTubers as well, guys, is, dude, you can only talk about money so much. Dudes want to switch it up, be edgy, be different.
Negotiators at the table in Pakistan and the foreign minister and the speaker of the parliament that were trying to do this memorandum of understanding.
Because like if you're someone like Graham Stephan, right, and a guy like him is probably easily making $100,000 to $300,000 a month, right? Like, would you rather take that money and go buy a house? If you can even do that, when you could just take that money and just throw it in the fucking stock market, right? And like dramatically, get guaranteed 10% returns versus real estate. They don't care about the passive income. So since they don't care about the passive income, they could just afford to put their money in the stocks and just set it and forget it.
Had the IRGC
because they're more focused on YouTube, right? So if you're more focused on YouTube and increasing your revenue on YouTube, it might make more sense to just invest in stocks because your income in of itself is fine. You don't need to augment it with real estate, which for them, they don't care about the cash flow that comes from real estate because they don't want to deal with the headache of it because they want to focus more on YouTube. So that's kind of what it is.
and Vahidi that simply wasn't willing to stop.
Investing in stocks in S&P 500 is kind of like retard proof, bro.
Yeah.
And now
just buy and forget it.
We are at the Battle of Hormuz, and the bridges that were struck are in places like Bandar Abbas, which is along the strait, right? Bashur, the places we are hitting along here, and there's Bandar Abbas there. That is right along the strait because the IRGC was always saying that the cards they were holding were the control of the Strait of Hormuz. And so President Trump is saying, no, you're not going to get that. And you're right, they don't have anything to throw militarily at us. But one thing that I think the president gets a lot of credit.
They still got a lot to shut down militarily, dude. This fucking epic cope, man. Epic cope.
Is that he still is leaving the option on the table of cutting a deal. If you ultimately come back to the table, that's great, but we're not going to tolerate you to try and wage a battle for the Strait of Hormuz. And it's pretty clear that we're going to continue squeezing the grip on that.
Yeah, and they clearly miss...
Okay, let's get into something else. We talked about this in the space. Syria sees advanced weapons and says we're bound for Lebanon's Hezbollah. So we can officially say, guys, Syria has left the resistance. The fact that Syria intercepted Hezbollah's weapons shows that Syria is no longer a member of the axis of resistance.
To Syria now, where authorities say they've stopped an attempt.
Well, Bashar al-Assad, they used to be a part of the alliance, but no more, my friends.
To smuggle a large shipment of weapons to Hezbollah from Iraq. The Interior Ministry says specialised units intercepted the shipment at the border crossing between Syria and Iraq. They uncovered long-range missiles.
And the reason why they did this is because Syria's in a weak position. They got to play nice with the United States and Israel.
And drones inside a vehicle en route to Lebanon destined for Hezbollah. Hezbollah denies any activities in Syrian territory. Well, Heidi Pett has more from Fraun in southern Lebanon.
This seizure by Syria is part of a broader reshaping of the region that has occurred over the last couple of years, particularly the fall of the Assad regime in Syria. It used to be a very popular land route for Iran to traffic weapons and cash to its partner here in Lebanon, Hezbollah. They went from Iran across Iraq through Syria and then here into Lebanon. And under the Assads, they had very little trouble with that. But since the new president, Ahmed al-Sharaa, took power in Syria, he has been cracking down on that cross-border smuggling. This isn't actually the first time that they've made announcements about having prevented this. In fact, not long after the war broke out here again in March, he announced that his authorities had located and managed to destroy tunnels in the mountains between Lebanon and Syria that Hezbollah had been using to traffic weapons. And the drying up of that route has...
You guys are seeing that there's a trend here with Hezbollah, Hamas, and Iran. Underground tunnels is how you deal with the Israelis and the United States when they have superior air power.
Proved to be a difficulty for them here in getting resupplies of weapons, of cash that would ordinarily be making their way here in southern Lebanon that they would be using to fight against.
Yeah, this is hurting Hezbollah a lot.
Israeli.
Especially since, and it hurts Iran because they're the strongest fighting force that that Iran has.
Military who are positioned on the hills. Just behind me here, you can see the parts of southern Lebanon that the Israelis are continuing to occupy. Now, President Ahmed al-Sharaa in Syria is under a lot of pressure to take even more action, in fact.
Lots of pressure.
Not just stopping.
He's in a tough spot because he can't even defend himself. And he doesn't want to get assassinated.
The smuggling routes, but in fact, the US President Donald Trump is putting a lot of pressure on him to intervene militarily here inside Lebanon. Up to this point, he has resisted that pressure. He said that it's not something that he's interested in. Hezbollah, for its part, has denied that it is active on Syrian territory, and it has described these allegations as fabricated. Heidi Pett, Al Jazeera.
Yeah. All right. Next, we're going to get into Khanna here, guys. Give me one second. I'm going to take a quick piss, and then we'll get into the Khanna, Thomas Massie. This is a big deal. So, 1 second, ninjas. All right, let's cook.
Transition to talk about this amendment that was a big vote in the House yesterday. Congressman Massie, you offered this amendment. We can put D1 up on the screen here. Ultimately, it failed, but created quite a lot of intrigue in the Democratic caucus in particular. You were the only Republican that voted yes on this amendment, which cut all funding for Israel. You actually had a narrow majority of Democrats who did vote for the proposal, which is just such a sea change in the positioning of the Democratic Party. I mean, previously, the relationship with Israel was really lockstep across the board. So I'm curious for your reaction to how this vote broke down, and if you're surprised that none of your colleagues are where you are right now on this issue.
Well, the reason I was able to get this vote on the floor of the House,
Look at this, a Republican and a Democrat. Yeah, he's more of a libertarian, but close enough.
Sincerely wanted to vote. I offered 3 amendments to defund foreign aid to Egypt, foreign aid to Jordan, and foreign aid to Israel. And the Republican leadership, to my surprise,
You guys are probably wondering, why Egypt and Jordan? The reason why you got to stop the funding to Egypt and Jordan is because Egypt and Jordan enable Israel to do the bullshit that they do. And we actually enable it because we pay. So if you're going to remove aid to Israel, you got to be fair and take it off Egypt as well as Jordan.
allowed me to get the vote on Israel. But I think that's because they made a political calculation. I believe it's a miscalculation, but they made a political calculation that this would be a hard vote for Democrats. And it did turn out to be a hard vote for Democrats. It should have been a hard vote for Republicans because now they've all locked into this idea that American taxpayers should give weapons and billions of dollars. I pointed out in my floor speech, we spend more on offensive weapons to Israel than we do on homeless veterans in the United States. And so every Republican has voted.
That's insane.
In my floor speech, we spend more on offensive weapons to Israel than we do on homeless veterans in the United States.
Yeah, that's unacceptable. Wow. That's actually a really fucking good stat. Wow. Talk about a fucking powerful talking point. Wow. When you put it like that, hey, man.
And so every Republican has voted to send offensive weapons to Israel, $3.3 billion. The vote was successful, though. My litmus test, you know, we've had votes like this in the past. You get maybe 6 or 10 people to vote for a minute.
Guys, don't forget that the Israelis got this nigga out of here, bro. He's yeeted. I think his last day was like June 30th. He's not a congressman anymore, chat.
Amendments like this. In fact, my vote to defund Jordan got 6 votes. Okay. But this was different. This moment in time is different because you can't objectively look at what's happening in Gaza and say that there's no moral hazard here for American taxpayers.
Absolutely.
70,000 people.
The crazy part is that a lot of Americans haven't even seen the footage in Gaza, so they don't know what their tax dollars are going to. The young people do, but like these boomers don't know.
Have died in a country of 2 million people. I mean, it's incredible. It's horrific. And so, but the fact that I thought, let me just say, my own secret number in my head was people were like, how many votes are you going to get? I would say dozens because I thought I would get 24 votes. And 60, if I got 60, I would have considered it a success. And 100 was beyond what I imagined we could get. But eventually, Nancy Pelosi endorsed the amendment.
That was a shocker.
Crazy. I can only say that because I lost my primary. Like I think part of the reason I lost my primary is Ro Khanna endorsed it.
Don't blame me.
But you know, Nancy Pelosi came out for it. The minority whip came out for it. But the minority leader came out against it. So it really did split the Democrats. I think in time, this for the 103 Democrats and myself who voted not to send this money to Israel, it's as time goes on, that's going to be a better and better vote. And the people that were on the other side of that, including all of my conference except for me, are going to regret this vote.
Congressman Khanna, yeah, curious for your reaction. This was a major intra-democratic war. You had the House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who voted for. You had the majority whip, who then, of course, you know, said that they would cut to vote 8. I'm curious for your reaction here about this split within the Democratic caucus. You were an original leader on a movement like this to watch, you know, a significant portion of your Democratic colleagues eventually come to your position. What does that foretell for the future of the Democratic Party?
I was joking with Thomas that we had more caucus meetings discussing his amendment than any Democratic legislation.
Wow, that's crazy, actually.
They really had like Sunday afternoon calls to discuss the Massie amendment and caucus meetings. But this should have been such a simple vote. I mean, we have to go beyond this, but obviously we shouldn't be giving them U.S.
Yep. Now he's starting. Now they're it's kind of crazy watching these politicians get red pilled real time, man.
Tax dollar aid for military weapons. In my view, we shouldn't be giving them military weapons to be killing civilians, and we need to be sanctioning the banks and government officials who are engaged in the settlement and work on recognizing a Palestinian state. But in my view, you had 103 folks, and the new Congress, you're going to have even more, and that it's going to become a very, very small minority eventually that is going to be saying, let's just have continued aid to Israel.
It's pretty wild to see Nancy Pelosi vote for it and Hakeem Jeffries vote against it.
Yeah.
And Pelosi, people are sharing all.
Yep. They're the old guard, dying breed of Clinton era, Obama era Democrats.
Kinds of clips of her now saying, like, if the Capitol were to crumble, the one thing that would remain is our, solidarity with Israel. And now here she is on her way out. And she's like, yeah, we'll vote to defund this. And I think she sees the writing on the wall. She's a very savvy political operator of where things are going.
Yep. Telling you guys, Zion Democrat, career cooked.
I cannot for the life of me really understand Hakeem Jeffries' calculus here. Because while there is such a split in
AIPAC paid him like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Might even be over $1 million at this point.
The House Democratic caucus, there is not a split among the Democratic base.
There's not.
Overwhelmingly, it is now a small minority that want to maintain the status quo with regard to our relationship with Israel. So, what were those internal conversations like to the extent that you can share some of the details? Because it's just very hard for me to understand why any cynical politician would look at this landscape on the Democratic side at this point and say, I want to stay with this position that has like 15% support among my own voters at this point.
Look, people were saying, oh, you're going to cut the Middle East diplomacy program. I said, by definition, that's probably one of the programs that should be cut or something. Hasn't worked.
How's it working?
You want to look at government programs that don't work or something. But beyond that, okay, fine. You want to have those programs. That was less than 1% of the aid, and you could have voted for Massie's bill and then still said an amendment saying, well, we want to keep the program for Middle East peace. But I do think it's a mistake for anyone who voted this way morally, but also politically. If you look at Claire Valdez, you look at Brad Lander, you look at Milat, you look at Anna Lilia, you look at Adam Hamawi, you look at the Plattner before the scandals, Abdul. The driving line in these issues is the funding on Israel and Gaza. And the Democrats want to kind of whitewash that part. Oh, Zoran or these candidates won because of affordability. They won because they wanted free childcare, freeze the rent, or Medicare for all.
Yeah, they want socialism. That's what's cool now.
Although it matters.
Bro's going to have to get on board.
But the first point of the animating difference that is motivating these candidates and the energy is Israel. I mean, Milat would have been no shot.
Yep.
To beat to get. To get was
Free Palestine protesters are fucking crazy, dude.
Good on all the issues. She was for Medicare for all, living wage. Why did she lose? She lost on this issue.
Wow.
And I just think that the political leadership hasn't grappled with that reality.
Congressman Matt, I was coming to you because you were the only Republican.
If you do everything else right as a Democrat, but you're pro-Israel, you're cooked.
Republican who voted support for it. I know you speak to many of your colleagues. You and I both know you're not the only person who thinks something like this.
Correct.
So why do they all, but like, why do they still see political utility in supporting Israel?
Because I just lost my election. I mean, $30 million and 90.
Yeah, bro. That's why. Literally, they said Thomas Massie to the Shadow Realm, bro.
Time to send you to the Shadow Realm. The future is mine.
Imagine spending 30K. Sorry, I said 30K. 30 million, excuse me, to get this dude off his seat when the area he represents has like a 1 to 2% Jewish population, bro. If anything, them unseating Thomas Massie made them say, "Yep, nah, we're not fighting these niggas, bro."
8% of that came from AIPAC or Republican Jewish Coalition or Miriam Adelson. It was all the race against me was fueled and funded by the Israeli lobby, and they made an example out of me. And
and Trump endorsed his fucking his opponent.
Worked. I mean, you're getting senators who are changing their positions. You're getting House representatives, folks who are just going underground on the Republican side, not saying anything about it. But the one thing I want to talk about, two things. They realize this is a political liability, the Israeli lobby. So they're trying to take away the transparency of this money that's being spent, and they're trying to integrate it into our military budget. So it won't be a line item that Congress votes on. It'll be inside of one of these giant military omnibus type programs. And we won't even know, because we'll just, instead of giving them gift certificates for Raytheon and Lockheed Martin, we'll give them the bombs from Raytheon. And
they would develop them with us.
Right.
It's almost integrated.
Well, that's the second part, is that Section 219 of the NDAA is now, it's very toxic. And I'm trying to get a vote on that to strip that. Section 219 is, I think, what Rose.
Okay, guys, this is the Israeli this is the Pentagon bill that we were talking earlier, guys.
Was alluding to, which is
integrability. They won because they wanted free childcare. It hasn't
was fueled and funded by the Israeli lobby. And they made an example.
I want you to catch this.
Out of me, and it worked. I mean, you're getting senators who are changing their positions. You're getting House representatives, folks who are just going underground on the Republican side, not saying anything about it. But the one thing I want to talk about, two things. They realize this is a political liability, the Israeli lobby. So they're trying to take away the transparency of this money that's being spent, and they're trying to integrate it into our military budget.
Yep.
So it won't be a line item.
And make other lobby groups that aren't explicitly Jewish.
That Congress votes on. It'll be inside of one of these giant military omnibus type programs, and we won't even know, because we'll just.
It'll be in the fine print.
Instead of giving them gift certificates for Raytheon and Lockheed Martin, we'll give them the bombs from Raytheon and.
Yep.
They would develop them with us.
Right.
It's almost integrated.
Well, that's the second part, is that Section 219 of the NDAA is now, it's very toxic. And I'm trying to get a vote on that to strip that. Section 219 is, I think, what Rose was alluding to, which is integration of our intelligence and military with supply chains, supply lines and technology with Israel. It's a country of 10 million people.
Right.
Like, it's not even like NATO, where they're at least the third of the size of us, and there might be some reciprocal arrangement that could help in a world war. That's not going to help. Israel can't help us in a war of a scale where our sovereignty is affected. It's only going to hurt us. Anyways, I'm trying to get an amendment in order to strip 219 from the NDAA. And if I can't get that done, or they don't allow.
And guys, this is the program where they plan to get Israeli technology embedded into American weapons and operation systems, which, as you can see, is a huge fucking liability.
Us to have that vote, I think they're jeopardizing the NDAA. That stands for National Defense.
Especially when Israel is literally one of the biggest stealers of our technology.
Defense Authorization Act. It's one of the must-pass pieces of legislation, like a farm bill or a highway bill that passes every year.
Right.
Congressman Massie, I wanted to ask you some about that money that was spent against you, and I think you're right. They definitely wanted to make an example of you. A lot of that money came from the Israel lobby. They're now trying to do a similar thing with Abdul Sayed in the Michigan primary on the Democratic side. I think $50 million have come in. And again, the ads have nothing to do with Israel. They're claiming he's a sexist because he one time mildly criticized Michelle Obama. I mean, this is the sort of stuff that they're going with here. And I do wonder, you know, again, from your perspective as a libertarian, if that change.
Told you guys, he's a Republican in name, but he's really a libertarian. Guys, we are going to switch to OSS soon. If you guys fuck with me, you guys like the fact that I came back on here to stream for you guys, the best way y'all niggas can show love is I get like 50 of you guys to join the OSS, bro. That'd be a dream for me. 50 you ninjas join the OSS, only $1 to join. $10 after that. That's how you guys keep me doing what I do. You guys really enjoy me being able to work hard and do this for y'all. Hey, man, support your boy. I'm demonetized. Y'all know how it is. So if you guys fuck with me, man, it's the best way to show support, guys. $1 first month, man. Barrier is literally, there's no barrier to entry.
Changes any of your view of...
I dropped the link. I pinned it in the chat. Watch a little bit more of this, guys. So jump on in there for me, guys. Best way to help me by far.
The ability for a democracy to coexist with billionaires, the impact of money in politics. You know, what are your views there? Has that shaped your philosophy or thinking about how we handle this flood of money, which is not just the Israel, it's big pharma, it's big oil, it's the banks, it's all sorts of interests.
Are you asking that? Did the ass whipping I took from the billionaires change my perspective?
Yes, I should have asked it that way.
It was a beatdown.
How are you feeling about billionaires these days? Yeah.
Well, you know, we were able to raise $20 million. And so we had enough money. It's just they played dirtier than we were willing to play. They made artificial intelligence ads that showed me in a three-way relationship with AOC and Ilhan Omar.
Oh, wow.
And,
bruh.
You know, people fell for those ads. They thought they were real. So again, there's another libertarian conundrum.
Oh, Jews lying? No way.
That I have in addition to campaign
no way.
Finance, which I do equate with speech. But also, here's another example of speech. Should they be able to make AI ads and run them with my image in it? You have to think very carefully about the legislative solutions that you don't make the situation worse. I think I could be okay with campaign finance that said, if you're running a congressional race, the only people who can donate are the people who can vote
in your district.
Now, Miriam Adelson may have moved to Kentucky.
she was ready.
Yeah, she definitely
she was so motivated.
She'll build a
less than 1%. I looked it up in that fucking area, in that district for Thomas Massie. Like less than 1 to 2%, man.
Casino on top.
Jews.
Top of your house.
Yet they spent $30 million to get him out. That makes sense.
Just to make an example.
I think that is interesting because I know in the past you've pushed for transparency, which I think is an important first step. But you know, at this point, there's a lot of mass education about who AIPAC is and what they are, et cetera. It's not that transparency, you know, isn't there necessarily, but the problem is that just when you have so much money, of course, it's going to impact outcomes. And we can see it, you know, in this vote from yesterday, too. So many of your colleagues take money from AIPAC or other similar groups. So many of the Democratic caucus, you know, it should be based on the Democratic base. It should be overwhelming and not a problem for Democratic congressmen to vote, you know, for an amendment like that. So you can see the impact of this money in the legislative process, not just electorally.
Well, ultimately, there was a win in my loss, which is I knew they would have to spend insane amounts of money. This is the most expensive congressional primary in the history of...
Yep, he overtook it. Him, Cori Bush, and one other guy. I keep fucking forgetting his name. Black dude.
Of the United States.
The Zionist lobby spent like $50 million on the number 2 guy, and I think like $10 million for Cori Bush.
And I knew that if they would have to spend insane amounts of money, and if they did and I lost, it would sort of prove the point that they have too much influence in our own government.
Them getting him out actually proved we were all fucking right.
That the Israeli lobby does. Now, they'll argue these are American citizens or dual citizens who are donating the money, but I would still say they're operating on behalf of a foreign country, and so they are foreign agents. I think they should have to register as such. But there was a victory in it. There was a big waking up. I don't think we would have gotten as many votes on my amendment if people hadn't watched me lose because there was $30 million of Israeli lobby money poured into a little Kentucky race.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't.
That's what they do when they hate you. They get you out of there, bro. They send you to the shadow realm. Oh, oy vey, you don't like the Jews? You don't want to give money to Israel? Okay, we'll show you what it is. Goodbye, Goy.
I don't know what the solution is. And then also on these AI
Never turn against Israel
ads, this fall is going to be the Wild West. Like, I got a taste of it in my own race. And you don't, these weren't online ads. These were like local, you know, Fox cable affiliates running these ads. So not a lot of people saw what's happening. But this November, both parties are going to run the most ridiculous AI ads.
All right, guys, let's start. We're going to finish this up over there. Come on over, guys, if you rock with me. You guys truly love me. You guys want to show support. This is the best way to do it. We're switching OSS, guys. Support your favorite creator, guys. I've been awake now since 11 p.m. 24 hours ago. We're going on 36 hours right now. I think we're at about 33 hours I've been awake, guys. No sleep. Woke up 11 p.m. the night before. Okay, guys. We're getting towards 36 hours, ninjas. So if you guys like the fact that I stream for you guys in this way, join the OSS is the best way to help me, ninjas. Quick word from our sponsor, ninjas.
Under Trump, we will have no more wars, no more disruptions, and we will have prosperity and peace for all.
The mission of Operation Epic Fury is laser focused.
The United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil.
This is not just a war about security. It's an information war. They need you to believe their stories, or else it all comes crashing down. This war began decades ago, but now you have the right intelligence to guide you, an army to march with, brothers to discuss with, and an admiral to lead the way. Join the OSS Army. And I will probably get on for you guys tomorrow anyway, man. I'm asleep and wake up. No guarantee. You guys are absolutely guarantee for Sunday. I don't know how I'm going to feel when I wake up tomorrow. But I might just get on, bro. I ain't gonna lie to y'all niggas, man. I like doing this so much, and you know, I'm really blessed to even have this opportunity. This is a blessing. I saw something on TikTok earlier that suggests North Korea gave Iran an ICBM technology to attack the U.S. on our soil. Do you think that'll be something that happens? That would be huge if that were true. That would be huge, but I don't know. Jarheaded should be getting an update tonight, and we'll have full numbers next stream. Thank you, Jarheaded. Daily morning stream doing a bathroom renovation on the house I bought earlier this year today. Great monologue the other day about not doing too much when it comes to property. Got you, bro. Nate says, Nate here. Hey, man, I woke up from my Matrix job and already see Big Bro translating the news. Shout out to Myron and OSS. Got you, dude. Igor Tigor says, hey, Myron, I've been wanting to share this with you for the last couple months as I thought you might find it interesting. A Russian ship carrying a nuclear reactor to North Korea for their first nuclear sub got bombed and sunk on the way there. Happened in the beginning of the year, but wasn't really covering the news until recently. Crazy stuff. I did hear about that, bro. I did hear about that. You're an OSS, so I'll kind of keep this on in the queue. When does the 90-day challenge start if it hasn't already? Hit up One Chest. Do you think the rumor of Lindsey Graham dying in a Kiev drone strike is true? I don't know what to think, bro. To be honest with you. Thanks for everything you do, Myron. Here's a thank you tip. Thank you so much, Jarheaded. You're the man. All right, guys. Let's come on over. It's OSS time. Y'all niggas love me. Come on over. If you hate me, I understand. So let's go ahead. We're switching over to OSS, and we're just going to start fucking cooking. I'm just going to get right into this interview, bro. I'm really excited for this one. This is our guy Suleiman. Talk to the foreign ambassador of Iran. I know he's going to ask good questions, so we can, you know, because Suleiman's a very good interviewer, man. So we're going to cover this on OSS. Let's fucking go, ninjas. Let's go. Okay, and then also, I'll cover some of the stuff you guys sent me before. Let's go, ninjas. OSS. Drop the link in here for you guys. Oh, hold on. What the fuck? All right, guys, switching over. It's that time, ninjas.